Hello everyone and welcome back to the Horsey and Fox podcast, where we talk about all things horses and foxes.
True.
For 2 hours.
True.
Yeah, we're here. I'm joined by James, and we're going to be talking about things today. I don't really know what, but I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yep. We're back. It's episode 8. It feels like I don't know how we've got to 8 episodes, but it also feels like we should have more. I feel like it's a bit weird. I don't know.
We're doing it for 2 months. 2 months? 2 months. Yeah.
2 months? Only 2 months? No, we started.
No,
that, right?
no, 4 months.
Because we're in May.
Yeah.
4 months. Yeah. So I suppose I'm thinking about it like, if back with the As Always podcast, me and Tyler would start in mid-January. So yeah, we would usually be on more than 8 episodes, but we started a couple months into the year. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, how you doing? How you been since last episode?
I'm doing good. I just got back from a camping trip.
Yeah.
Feeling good, feeling sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you do on the camping trip?
We set up camp, obviously.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I bought some new gear, obviously, because you were there when I had all my packages come.
Yes.
Bought some new camping gear, fire pit, floor mat to sit on, so I'm not just sitting on grass. What else did I get? I got a portable charger, head torch, which came in really useful. That was such a good idea.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, so in the day, when I set up, obviously I was setting up, chilling. We sat there for a couple hours, and then we drove to Stratford upon Avon, which is the town that Shakespeare grew up in.
Yeah. Classic.
And there was lots of cool Tudor buildings there. And there was also a butterfly farm too. So we went there, and there was like a nice bit in the middle where there's just like butterflies freely flying around you.
Yeah.
And just sort of vibing, and they're so beautiful.
That's cool. I went to a butterfly farm when I was 4 in reception at school, and I remember because I saw a tarantula, and it scarred me for life.
Yeah, there was a tarantula in the one that we went to. It's like one of those black and orange ones. The tarantula's all right, to be fair.
They had it out the box, and they put it we stood in a line, and this guy held it up in front of all of us so we could see it close up, and he pulled its fangs back and stuff. Oh god. It was horrible. I was 4, and I was like, bloody hell, it's a monster. One. It would have been so much bigger because I was so small as well.
That's true, yeah. The tarantulas aren't actually that big. They're not huge.
I mean, he was pretty big from memory. They're the size of your hand, aren't they?
Yeah, ish, yeah. Yeah, if they
if you think that's not big, what are we talking about big?
Huntsman, that's fucking big.
Yeah, but they're not thick. I mean, they are, but
Yeah, but tarantulas are just chunky, furry boys. They're chilling, but
they're quick
Huntsman
though, right?
Yeah, some of them are docile, some of them are quick and aggressive. It depends on the type.
Quick and aggressive, yeah, I suppose. But tarantulas don't jump, do they?
No.
Whereas huntsmans, they sort of jump about.
Oh, I fucking hate them. They're actually probably my least favourite spider. I hate them so much.
Least favourite spider.
My least favourite. The one that
you're the most prejudiced about.
The one that I'm most afraid of is a huntsman.
Yeah, you'd make huntsmen sit at the back of the bus. Is what you're saying?
Give up their seat for me.
Oh my god.
That's what I would do.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, in the times, because you were playing a lot of Resident Evil 4. Have you finished that playthrough yet?
Nope.
I
think I'm probably going to stream the rest of it today. Later on. Which will be good fun. Probably will. Just finish the game, get the platinum trophy, and then I can be done with it and do other things. Play other games.
What are you going to do next? What are you going to play after?
Well, just as for fun.
Well, just in general, what are you going to... What's your plans? Because you did Dead Space, then you did...
I did Dead Space. I don't know if I'm going to do the Dead Space video anymore. I say this every time I bring up Dead Space. I don't know if I'm going to do the video anymore. Maybe I will. The script is half done, so maybe I'll come back to it in a few months.
Yeah.
But right now, I cannot be asked to finish writing that. Playing Assassin's Creed 1 at the minute. I'm on the Brand assassination, so I'm nearly done with that. Super close to being done, and then do whatever with that. Still haven't even started recording my Sonic Frontiers video.
Sure.
Just can't be bothered, but it'll happen.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
At some point you'll feel the motivation. You'll be like, yeah, I want to record that now, or I want to make that. It's just sort of waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, I don't want to rush myself to make it, because like it's not like I need to get another video out. Like it's fine.
Yeah, for
I don't need to rush. I made a fucking 11 hour
You just
video.
made a huge one. It's it's doing nicely. So
Yeah, exactly.
You're all right. What about Burning Shores? When are you gonna play that?
Soon, I reckon. I'll do it soon.
It's really short. You could beat it in like a day.
God damn, I do want to 100% it as well and do the 3 side quests that it has.
I 100% did everything in it. It took me about 15 hours, I think.
That's not
do
bad,
everything in it. It was very quick.
Not bad.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on in it.
I'll play it soon. I also want to play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, because I haven't played either of them.
I've been consumed by Jedi Survivor for the last couple of weeks, like playing it through,
video, haven't you?
then working on this big video. It's been really fun actually to write it. I've had a really good time writing the video and editing it, and I'm getting close to being done. I reckon a couple more days of just solid editing, and I should have it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. Jedi Survivor was great. Very much like one of those types of sequels where it just sort of feels like a sequel.
A good sequel, yeah.
Which is nice. Like a Horizon Forbidden West where you're like, oh man, I can't believe how well this continues on, and you know, has all the same characters and does what it does with the story and stuff. It's
Well, I'm looking
really,
forward
really
to
great
playing
game.
them back to back. I think that'll be fun for the first time.
Yeah,
back to back.
yeah. I mean, that's what I did when I was like gearing up for Survivor. I played Fallen Order through again, and I haven't played that since it came out, so it was nice to sort of refresh myself. And the way that they handle, like, it's probably, I think, one of the best games or one of the best sequels for how they handle like gameplay transitioning, because a lot of games do like story transitioning pretty well. Like it carries on and it continues the story and it moves things forward, but a lot of the times they like reset you to level 1, or they change things with the combat or something like pretty like, you know, fundamentally. But with Survivor, it just feels like when you finish Fallen Order and start Survivor, it just feels like you're playing the same thing, and then it slowly builds from that point.
Yeah, that's what you want.
It's cool.
Obviously, it's
really
fine
cool.
to have the main character loses their ability. I don't mind that all that much, but it's cool when they actually build on the systems that were in the first game and make you feel even more powerful in the sequel.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very very nice game. Looking forward to getting that video out. But what I have been playing, just sort of for fun, I'm playing on the Steam Deck, is a little game called Tunic, which was, I believe Xbox showed it a lot. I think it's on Game Pass, but I just bought it on Steam so I could play it on the deck. But
little fox guy.
It's the little fox guy. It's kind of like an old school Legend of Zelda meets Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. It's Dark Souls of Fox games.
Exactly, with some like Metroidvania aspects to it. It's really cool though. It's a really cool game. I like it a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's like just the way that the level design is built, like it's just so satisfying to go through an area and you like sweep it out, and you die a couple times and you respawn at the equivalent of a bonfire, and then you go back through again, and but the way that it's built up and like the world building as well, like it's a game, it's all about like discovery, and like the way that you uncover things is by finding these little pages of what would be like the game's manual. And you pick up these pages, and it'll give you information, but it's like none of it's in English. It's all in like this foreign alien language. And you kind of have to piece together what it means by looking at it, and then by playing the game and like testing things out. Like you get an item, but it doesn't tell you what the item does. You just have to kind of figure it out or try it and use it. And then you like remember what everything does. You remember where everything is, and like you find these things around the map. There's like these little yellow platforms, and I won't spoil it for anybody that wants to play it, because it's really cool when you figure these things out. But you find them and you're like, I bet they do something. And then 5 hours into the game, you figure out what they do, and then you want to go back to all of them and use them all. And then it's a very cool game and a very cool experience. I would recommend it for anybody who's looking for just something small to play that's not going to take you hours and hours and hours. Just sort of like, I think it's like a 10-15 hour game. So. And yeah, it looks gorgeous. It looks really, really nice. I mean, it looks great on the Steam Deck, but I played it for a bit on my desktop, just on my PC, just to capture a bit of footage, because I was like, well, I could write like a video essay on this. I feel like it could be something cool.
Like a little short
yeah, because I've been looking for something to do that with, because I feel like I've been doing a lot of these just sort of, your regular critiques. I'd like to write like a 20-25 minute video essay on something that like just sort of is talking more about the way a game made me feel and how it achieved that, more so than just like, here are the mechanics and here's how they're good and here's how they're bad. So that might be good, but it looks gorgeous, like playing it, in 4K on my PC and everything. So very nice game. I like it a lot.
Have you played?
Big fan.
Fucking hell. Have you played?
Fucking alright there.
I'm tired, man. I'm always tired when I come back from camping, but that's fine.
that makes a lot of sense.
It's a good feeling. Have you played Tears of the Kingdom?
I've not.
No.
Well, I'm a Breath of the Wild hater, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's probably one of those games. I'm sure I will play both of them at some point, and I'll probably. I mean, I've played Breath of the Wild. I've played the whole thing.
All of it.
But
God.
yeah, I finished it. I streamed the whole thing. But I didn't experience the game.
No,
like,
you streamed it.
I streamed it. I just sort of made a beeline for the end of the game, and I don't know. I think when I stream, I don't like lingering. Like, I always want there to be something to do next. I'm like, well, what am I doing next? What's my goal? What am I going to do? Let's, make some progress. Like, if I spend 4 hours streaming and all I'm doing is sort of meandering around a world, I feel like I've wasted my time.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'd have done that off stream, it would have just been like, I'd be relaxing, playing a game, just sort of taking my time and enjoying it. But I find it very difficult to do that on stream, and I think I realised about halfway through playing the game, maybe even earlier, that I just shouldn't have streamed it. But
that's why I never stream my first playthrough of games anymore. I don't do it. I'll go back on New Game Plus and stream it if I really enjoyed it. But
yeah,
I guess maybe I think because your streams are more content oriented, mine are just sort of just for a bit of fun. Like, no one even watches my streams, like barely anyone. So it's like,
yeah, well, I think it definitely depends on the game. Like Final Fantasy, those were really fun to stream. I did enjoy those, and I think part of that is because of the way that they're paced. There's not a lot of dithering. Like, it's a lot of just going from thing to thing to thing to thing, and then experiencing the story, and it kind of works. Like, I think if I'm gonna stream anything, I think JRPGs are way more like suited to a first time playthrough on stream. There's something about it that just feels right. But yeah, I don't know. It does depend. Like, I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 16. Like, I might not stream that. I might play that in my own time because it just looks really good.
Yeah, God, we don't need to be streaming. Well, actually, if you want to stream, of course. It's pretty hype. But
it's
oh God, when does that come out?
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
June.
July?
Oh,
June.
Is it June? I think it's the end of June. Let me
I've
check.
got so many games to play.
Final
Stop
Fantasy
releasing
16.
games.
Yeah, it comes out in a month tomorrow.
Oh, God.
June 22nd.
Well, it's fine, because I have games that I want to do videos on, but also games that I don't want to do videos on, I just want to play, so I can just simultaneously play them. But the thing is, when a game comes out that I really enjoy, I'm like, kind of don't want to go back and play that game that I've played already just to record it for a video. I kind of want to play this new thing, and then I just play that for ages and forget about making a video. But I don't even need to worry, I guess, because it doesn't fucking matter when I release my next video. It's fine.
True. You could just wait and do it whenever. I think I said this on. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say I want to replay Halo Infinite for a video at some point. But,
yeah. I was thinking about Halo Infinite the other day. I watched a video from Andrew Blewett, which was a really good video essay on Halo Infinite. I posted it on my Patreon just to share it with people on the VIP tier.
Yeah.
What's it called? Everyone should go watch it. I've talked about him before. He makes great videos. He made one on Halo 4 as well that really made me appreciate Halo 4 a lot more. Definitely like reframed the story for me a little bit. I still don't love the game because a lot of Halo 4's like issues come from like its pacing and level design
sucks.
It's just like is boring to play.
Just open this door and stand by it for 10 minutes while you kill enemies.
Yeah.
That's every single fucking mission.
And it's no fun to fight Prometheans either.
Not really, no. They're not very fun enemies.
But he definitely reframed Halo 4's story for me, and he made a video on Infinite called Halo Infinite Kept the Promise, a story retrospective. It's only got 1,800 views, but it is easily one of the best Halo videos I've ever seen. It's so good. And this guy...
hidden gems there are on YouTube.
Yeah, this guy is so good. And he's been doing like, I found him through his retrospective of Final Fantasy 1, because he's been doing a retrospective on every Final Fantasy, starting with the first game. And he talks about, what went into making the game, the development team, the history behind it, and then goes into analyze the game as well. And he's currently on Final Fantasy 4. He's writing his 5th one now. And I pledged to his Patreon, so like I get little updates here and there for his Final Fantasy stuff and everything, because I think he's fucking great.
I'm sure those videos will blow up.
So definitely check out his Halo Infinite one. That one needs the views. His Final Fantasy ones do well. He's got like his Final Fantasy 4 videos on 78k, so like they do well, those ones. But that Halo Infinite video deserves more. Very good.
Good lad.
I forget what I was going to say before I went off on this tangent.
So do I. I don't remember anymore. Halo Infinite? We're talking about Halo.
It's before that. Shit. You said you were going to go back and play Halo Infinite. And I was gonna say something before that.
Gonna say something.
But I was like, it was a different topic. Fuck, it was something. Shit.
It's fine, because we can just talk about how Halo Infinite is now finally getting infection.
Amazing.
A year and 7 months after it released.
Well done, 343. Well done.
Really well, isn't it? People were trying, like, in the comments to, like, the announcement, people were going, "Oh, yeah, but you guys just don't understand. They kept what's it called again? Infection. They kept infection out of it for so long for lore reasons. Okay, it's because the lore of the multiplayer doesn't allow it.
It's more like the lore was written to justify the fact that it wasn't in yet.
Yeah, it took them a year and 7 months to develop a game mode where when you die, you change team.
That's so stupid.
Amazing.
What are they doing? Like, well done, what's actually happening over there?
Something terrible.
It doesn't make any sense. Like,
Microsoft
I genuinely
is going, stop making games, lad. Stop making games. We don't want games.
Oh man, it genuinely is so crazy. Like what happened with Halo Infinite, because it doesn't seem real that they're still trying to put stuff out, and it's still taking them this long.
Yeah, and they even cancelled single player DLC as well. So like.
It's what happened? Like, what the fuck happened to Halo? Halo is Xbox's biggest thing. How have they fumbled it this bad?
PlayStation need to, like, buy it somehow.
It's, it is actually wild. Xbox should be putting all the money they have into Halo, and instead they've just gone, no. We don't need games. We don't need anything.
They're taking all the money they can from it. That's what they're doing. They're not putting anything into it. They're just going, how can we make as much money as possible whilst doing as little amount of work as possible?
Maybe. I guess they're taking a page out of the Ubisoft book.
Classic. Fucking bastards.
Fuck. That makes a lot of sense.
I may jump in to play some Infection to see what it's like, but I probably won't play it for that long.
Yeah, I might do some here and there. I think the one thing that I've always said that would make me jump into Infinite and like play a decent bit more of it is if they put in a fucking level system. Like if I could rank up, it would be, I'd like feel like there was some sort of substance, like the fact there's no level, because I don't care about the battle passes. Like I don't really give a shit about any of that stuff. Like yeah, it's nice to unlock things, but I want to rank.
I do want rewards. Like give me ranks, but also give me rewards for ranking up, please.
Yeah, I mean it should be both, and like I guess the system they've got, it's never really going to be as good as Reach or Halo 3 with how they hand out the rewards.
Repackage more Reach armor into a fucking bundle they can sell on the store.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that first battle pass had like some pretty cool armor in it, like it looked pretty cool. Then they did the Reach one, and yeah, that was cool because it was Reach and we knew it. And then immediately they've gone back to their shitty Halo 5 designs. Like there's so much garbage armor now. Like I'm not paying for that battle pass. It looks terrible.
So what happened to returning to the art style that everyone liked? What happened to that?
It's so crazy because it's like all the ones that were good were almost like based on Bungie stuff, and then as soon as they started doing their own stuff again, it's like, oh no, now it looks like Halo 5 again. It looks fucking shit.
Stick to the fucking design philosophy of the game, you fucks. Stop making weird armor that's got like 3 circles as a visor. No one wants that shit.
Oh, it's so annoying. They've got like horns on the top of their fucking helmet and shit.
Yeah. I just
So
want Halo
annoying.
armor.
Just
give me
make it look like
fucking
Halo, for
armor.
God's sake. It's so weird that they can't, like, they don't have anyone. There's, like, nobody that works at 343 that gets Halo. Like,
It's
what is
annoying.
going on? Like,
Everyone
why
that
doesn't
did
anyone get
left.
it? Literally
There's
everyone's
shit
left. Like,
working
fucking
there.
Joseph Staten recently left a couple months ago.
He left
like,
twice.
He came in, tried to help out the single player. You know, helped it to a bit of an extent, I would say. Like, the single player has got its merits. And then left.
I still think the campaign of Halo Infinite is fun.
I still think it's good. I think I care less about the structuring and open world of it, and I think
I
mean
could do without that, to be honest. The open world, I could do. I don't need it.
I think you said it last podcast. At least I think it was you, that Halo Infinite feels like the aftermath of a good Halo campaign.
Yeah.
Like every time you come into an area, you're like, oh man, I would have loved to have seen what happened here and played this bit.
It should have been from the perspective of some random Spartan. That's what it should have been. It shouldn't have been Chief. As much as I love my boy Chief.
Imagine how cool of a game that would be. Like, Master Chief is nowhere to be seen. Like, they can't, like, no, Master Chief isn't showing up. Nobody knows where he is. You're a random Spartan on the Infinity. The Banished destroy it, and you're there trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
And, like, doing your best.
And it's like you're not
like,
Chief,
what the fuck?
so, like, not everything's going to go your way. It's like, you can't do these miraculous things that he can do, because you're just one random Spartan, whatever the fuck number they are, Spartan 3, or what, well, I don't know what number they are, Spartan 4, maybe. It'd be cool, it would be super cool, but obviously we had Chief, and it was fine, it was I still like Halo Infinite's campaign.
They did some good stuff.
I like the weapon.
It's weird, because I think Infinite is almost, like, the story is, like, it is continuing on the idea that they wanted to explore in Halo 4, which is humanizing the Chief and, like, giving him way more depth in that aspect of who he is. And they do that well, but everything else is, like, so lackluster and weird. Like, the Warthog run, for example, is just, like, so half-baked. Like, you get in the Warthog
run, to be
honest. It's when you're going to Escherum's fortress right at the end. Like, everyone's finally, like, you're going to save the weapon, and, like, you're with the pilot. Or no, you're going to save the pilot. He's been kidnapped. And he's like being tortured or whatever. And you go there and you come out into the thing and you see this big long road and you're like, okay, let's go. And you get in the Warthog and you drive it and the music starts picking up. And then you like, sometimes you just get you get shot because it's not a well built set piece. So sometimes they'll just blow you up. Other times, like, you get to this barricade and you have to get out the Warthog and go over this thing, go into this room, hit a switch, and the music's already stopped. And it's like,
that's not how you do a Warthog run.
Like,
it's a Warthog run.
Fuck,
you don't get out of it. See, that shows how bad it was, because I don't even remember it.
Yeah, it's one of the worst moments of the game, and not even because it's one of the worst moments of the game, just because it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been good. And there's also, like, moments where at the beginning, when you first get on the Pelican and the pilot takes you away from the bit where you started and, like, takes you out into the middle of the map, it just starts playing the Warthog run music. And it's not epic or anything. Like, it's just like a glorified loading screen.
They play the Halo theme at random points in that game as well, it felt like.
So weird, yeah.
Like,
really
just
odd.
Randomly, out of nowhere, it would just play it. It's like, why is this going on?
There's also little bits where, like, in the trailer, there's that moment where the pilot says, we need to run, and the Chief's like, no, we need to fight, which was a great line and a great moment.
He never says it.
And it never happens. He just says, I need a weapon. It's like, oh, okay, you took out, like, a good line for a cheap Halo 2 reference instead.
Yeah. It's like, come on. It was
like,
good.
Why?
That could have been Halo
line.
Infinite's line. Like, that could have been the thing that people, like, associate with the game.
Yeah.
But nah, Halo 2, once again, just reference Bungie's era, because it's better.
Yeah, it's such a shame, man, because Halo Infinite is, like, so close to being really, really good. There's so many little areas where it just falls flat.
I hope the next Halo game isn't open world. They probably will make it open world, to be honest.
When do you think they're gonna? I don't think they will. I think they'll do it. I think they'll go back to classic Halo, to be honest.
I hope it's not even Chief. I hope it's just a Halo story, like, just set in the universe, like kind of like Reach or ODST. I just want something like that. They've proved to me well, I guess they haven't proved to me they fucked Chief up, because I actually really liked his characterization in Infinite.
Yeah, he was handled well.
But they need to let him rest for a bit. Maybe even a few installments, let Chief just let him rest.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because they've done this multiple times. Chief's been taken out of the game and then he comes back straight away. Yeah. And now it's like, now you've done his character well, you do need, like, Chief does need to be let rest and should have been let rest 10 years ago. But, like, now you're at this point where it's like, how do you even do that without it almost being silly? Like,
yeah, 343 should have established themselves without Chief.
They should have, 100%. Then bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, and do a cool story with him. Like, there's so much you could have done. Like, honestly, the best stuff from Halo in the last decade is the extended media.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many great extended media stories that I read leading up to Infinite because, like, I went balls deep into Halo. Just so many great stories there, and none of them are centered around Chief.
They should make just so compelling. An elite-centric story. I'd love that.
There was a great, I think it was Glasslands, was this book about, it was set between Halo 3 and Halo 4, and is about the fallout of the Arbiter teaming up with the humans, and how the Civil War started. And
everyone back on San Helios hates it. It's like, stop being buddy with the humans, you fuck.
And you got this one guy who's plotting to assassinate the Arbiter, and he ends up being the one that starts the like, you know, elite covenant that we see in Halo 4 and Halo 5 that are like, you know, against the Arbiter's main army and stuff.
Sweet guys,
which is just like a really cool story, just like this political story about, you know, how the elites like ended up being split. But as well as that, you've also got some of the stuff with these Forerunners and this small team of UNSC with like one Marine and stuff, or like one Spartan, sorry. And you've got like, there's so many cool little things. Like there's this one whole chapter, or I think it's more than one chapter, which is it is more than one chapter. It's so good. It's some of the best stuff in Halo I think I've ever read, which was this story that tells the events leading from. So you got this day where these parents are just like, it's just a normal day in the life of these parents, and it's their daughter's birthday, and their dad, and or it might just be another colony world, but it's like a human colony or whatever. And this dad gets his daughter this like playhouse she's always wanted or whatever, and then she just doesn't come home from school for some reason. And they go out looking for her and they can't find her anywhere, and like you see this like the trauma and the fallout from that, and then you find out a little while later they find her, but she's not the same. She's completely different. And then you like, you know, you as the audience, you know this character because you've had 2 books with her as an adult. It's, you know, she was taken by Horsey and became a Spartan, and then this clone that they like think they found their daughter eventually, you know, a few months later dies. And they're lied to for their whole life. They're lied to by the government that no, nothing happened, but they know. They're like, that wasn't our daughter. Like, what happened to her? And
that's really
like,
cool.
Her dad starts this like resistance group, like rebelling against the UNSC, and like years and years later, his daughter is sent to investigate that terrorist group that he's a part of. And the reason
is that
the
insurrectionists? Is that what they're called?
I think so. Yeah. And
it's the group that Emil's brother was a part of in Halo Reach.
Yeah, I think there is a connection. Yeah, but like they're sent then to investigate this group, and it's like the whole reason this terrorist group exists is because of Horsey stealing these children and creating the Spartans. And it's like, it's just such an interesting story. It's really good.
I mean, Oni is fucked up in the Halo universe. It's like it's a really cool concept, Oni, and how they used to obviously take kids from their homes under the noses of the parents. Like, seeing that from the parents' perspective is probably a really cool insight.
It's really, really good. Like,
how fucked it was.
I didn't know how much it would like to like it was quite emotional. I was like, this is really well written. I was like, I can feel this. Like, it was really, really good. And some, you know, stuff like that is what keeps me invested in Halo. I'm like, Halo has a lot of good stories to tell. But
it does. Like, what are they doing?
I know.
What are they doing?
What are they doing?
Make something good, please.
Jesus
give me an second ODST game. I'll take that.
Yeah. What even happened to the ODSTs? I don't think I've seen one in ages.
True. they're not even mentioned anymore. People don't care about them. But they're like some of the coolest parts of the Halo universe. I fucking love the ODSTs. Because they're just normal guys. But they're like mini Spartans.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love them. They are so fucking cool. I'd take an ODST sequel, even if it's like not a sequel to the story of ODST, but just another game where you play as an ODST in a team. Like, don't even have Buck in it or anything. Just make it like a new team.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd take that.
That would be cool. You could just tell like a really gritty, like on the ground story from the perspective of like this small team of ODSTs.
Yeah. It can be set during the original Human Covenant War as well. Like, imagine the amount of battles that happen or conquests that happen during that war. Like, there's plenty of stories to tell in there.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be linked to, you know, the... I guess it needs to be somewhat significant because there needs to be, like, stakes to it, but...
I mean, you could set it between Halo 3 and 4, so you can do it, like, while the Chief's not around.
That is true. It's like,
he's in stasis.
There's no hope. Chief is not around to save everyone, so it's up to just the normal men and women of the UNSC to fight off the remaining Covenant.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Super cool. Like, there's so many cool ideas where they just go, nah, Chief, Halo ring, we're just going to copy a bunch of shit from fucking Combat Evolved, because lol.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And that first level of... the second level of Halo Combat Evolved had a tiny area that you could kind of explore, so that means we should make it a whole open world.
Yeah, that fucking excuse people are using. Actually, Halo's always been open world. Fuck off.
There was one fucking level of Halo Combat Evolved that had a bit of exploration, therefore Halo has always been open world.
Exploration in the sense that you could choose which area you wanted to do first, and that is it.
Yeah. That's it. Stupid. It's the stupidest fucking reasoning for Halo being an open world I ever fucking heard. That was some of the dumbest discourse I think I've ever seen about it. Like, that's such a copium.
Look,
like,
can we blame Halo fans for coping though? I can't.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
They're in a dire situation at the minute.
Yeah, that is rough.
Well,
they have been for a long time.
I am a Halo fan. We are in a dire situation.
Yeah. Been in a dire situation for far too long.
For a long time, since 2010, actually, I think.
Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. It's been a while that we've been stuck in this hellscape that is Halo.
Maybe the next one will be good, eh?
Oh, Jesus Christ. They need to stop. They need to stop making them.
My God. It's such a shame. There's so much potential in the franchise. It's just being fucked.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen with Infinite? Like, this is supposed to be Halo's platform for the next 10 years. Will it be or not?
Idea. No, I think they've abandoned that.
It's already been 2 years. Not even 2 years.
2 years, and there's about 3 game modes in the multiplayer.
Oh, God. They still haven't got a fucking ranking system.
Is the Forge mode even out yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it still in beta?
I don't know, because I've not seen it, so
it's
I don't
probably
think...
still in beta. Look, knowing 3 foot. Let me Google it.
Yeah, let's have a look. Forge. Is Forge... Oh, the Forge is still in beta, I think, yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. What fucking game? They should have just fucking delayed it.
They cancelled split screen co-op as well.
Why?
So that's the thing.
I mean, I guess not many people play split screen anymore, to be fair.
I mean, I would say split screen co-op is like a staple of Halo. Plus, they said it was going to be in it.
Well, they did. It is a staple of Halo, but is it needed these days? I mean, I guess for like siblings that share a console, I think it is very important.
I mean, yeah, it's a whole experience that people are going to miss out on.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about it from my perspective, where I have my own console, I have the money to do that. Whereas little kids or whatever that just want to play Halo with their mates or with their siblings or whatever, they can't do that anymore.
No, because it
wasn't
even
play
Halo
MCC.
5 either.
It'd be better anyway.
Yeah, it would be better. That is true. Play Master Chief Collection.
I've been playing a bit of MCC recently, just chill and play some Firefight. Yeah, it's just so fun.
There's a million more game modes in Master Chief Collection
than there really
Halo
is.
Infinite will probably ever have.
Is MCC ever going to get another season? Or is season 8
No,
the
I
last
don't think
one?
so. I think they ended it.
That's such a shame. I would have happily played MCC for many more years to come.
Yeah, it's great. Like, MCC should have become Halo's platform for the next 10 years.
Should have been. Fuck Infinite. Fuck off.
Because it's great.
More like maps and content for like Halo 3 and Reach
it's
and 2.
it's wild because you look at Master Chief Collection is what they almost wanted to do with Infinite. They've already done it well. They've done that live service, continual updates, new maps.
Fucking stupid again.
Like Master Chief Collection is really good, and
it's great.
They've moved over to Infinite and they've fucked it up. And it's mental. Like Master Chief Collection has a fucking ranking system. I can level up and I can compare against my friends and be like, on this level.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Fucking Microsoft's just stupid.
Yeah.
Just fucking stupid. So glad
really
that
rough.
I switched. Like, obviously I have both consoles, but I'm so glad that I switched my main from Xbox to PlayStation, because PlayStation is fucking absolutely devouring Xbox at the minute.
It's so weird though, because I still think of myself as an Xbox person. Like,
oh, do you?
Even though I obviously prefer PlayStation, they're doing what I like more. Like they're way more geared towards the games that I like. I still think of myself as an Xbox person. Like I'm never gonna think of myself as, oh no, I'm a PlayStation guy. It's weird because I guess because I'm just so used to Xbox. Like I grew up with it. It was the thing. Like I always had an Xbox. It was always my console. Yeah. And so now I just think of it that way. I mean, there's every major third party release, I'll usually get it on Xbox. Just because they usually support it better. So like in 10 years, PlayStation, it might not even be playable on PlayStation, but I know on Xbox it will be, and it'll be probably like fucking 8K, 620 FPS.
Yeah.
And I like that about Xbox. There's a bit more longevity to it. If PlayStation did that, I think I'd be able to feel comfortable just moving straight to PlayStation, doing everything on PlayStation.
But they can't even work out how to fucking emulate PS3 games.
Yeah, which is rough. That is rough for PlayStation.
Absolute dog shit. Fucking sort it out. Why can't I not play Assassin's Creed 1 on my PS5? Why are you making me load up my Series X?
Yeah, the Series X is based though.
Series X is alright, yeah, it's pretty good. It's good to play old games on. That's basically what I use it for. Old games that are upscaled.
I like Game Pass. This is like some really cool games on Game Pass. Like sometimes I'll just go through, I'll be like, oh, what's new? I'll find something, I'll click on it, install it, and I'm like, that was cool. Cool little indie game or something.
True. I mean, Game Pass is very good. But doesn't it also like negatively affect the way games are made? Something like that, isn't it bad?
Yeah, I mean there is that aspect of it that if you want a game to be on Game Pass, you can't make the games that PlayStation are making because it will not profit. Because like you look at God of War, you can't give that to people for free for a monthly subscription because the game's not long enough to keep people. So like they have to be live services because you need to keep people giving you money every month. Otherwise, they finish a game, they cancel their subscription. So like I do get that. That does make a lot of sense. And I think at this point, I'm not hoping that Xbox ever competes with PlayStation. Like, it's just not going to happen.
They're going in two separate directions, it seems like.
It's you look at Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, they've all carved out this little niche for themselves. Yeah. And I don't think any of them are going to encroach on each other's at this point. Like, they know what they're doing. Like, I mean, you could see some of that. Like, if, PlayStation decides they want to dive into sort of multiplayer territory.
They are soon, to be fair. I mean, with all the announcements of like, The Last of Us multiplayer,
Last of Us factions,
obviously certain dormant FPS PlayStation franchises possibly coming back, like Killzone, Resistance, stuff like that, which I would like to see. I think there needs to be a decent FPS on PlayStation. I would not mind Killzone coming back. If Guerrilla want to stab at that, I trust them to make a good game. They're going to be good.
Killzone. I mean, Killzone Shadowfall sort of flopped.
Looks very
the
pretty,
ones before that were all good. It does still look really nice, even though that's a PS4 game from the start of that console generation. It does still look really nice.
That is true, yeah.
I like a good, pretty FPS.
So do I.
Something
like
about
Crisis.
it is fun, or like a Battlefield.
Yeah, something like that. I do like
where it's
shit.
there's a novelty about it. Like, it's a first-person game, you're running around shooting people, but it also looks really nice.
Yeah. When I played the Battlefield 3 campaign, I got very immersed when I played that for the first time. Yeah. Even though the first mission is you fucking, like, running on top of a train in the subway, but, like, the rest of it's pretty realistic and immersive. But it's not meant to be milsim anyway, so, I mean, it's fine.
No. I played, I think it was a couple months ago, or it was end of last year. I played Battlefield 1 because it was on EA Play as part of Game Pass, and I played that on PC for a bit. It looked really nice, very pretty game.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Walking
Frostbite
around in
engine,
the World War
classic.
One areas and doing some bits and bobs and like blowing up buildings. It's cool.
Yeah, they're good games. Battlefield. They're not anything too special, but they're fun and they look nice. So
yeah,
the guns are very punchy.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what these companies do. I guess we'll see where Xbox goes, and it's gonna be interesting because we're coming up soon on E3 period, which is obviously not E3 anymore.
True.
It's true. Just I saw someone on Twitter called it like early summer games conventions period, which is now what it is.
That's so depressing now. It used to be E3 season where it was like a month or however long, 2 months of like just
tons and tons of stuff. It was great fun.
Oh god, I miss it.
But we've got coming up very soon when this podcast goes up, it'll be in 2 days, is the PlayStation Showcase.
I think they're gonna go crazy. I genuinely think they're gonna announce so much shit.
I don't think they've done a PlayStation Showcase like this since 2021. I think that was the last time they did one. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Maybe they did do one in 2022, but I don't remember. I remember the last major one they did though. And yeah, I think it's gonna be cool to see what PlayStation does, because I think it's gonna be big. I think, like you said,
crazy.
Lots of reveals, lots of new trailers and stuff like that. Like I think Spider-Man 2 will be one of the main things they'll probably show.
Yeah. Do you reckon they'll tease anything about Ghost of Tsushima sequel?
Maybe.
In 3 years.
Maybe we'll get a little teaser for that. Maybe
at least like a little something. I mean, even though it's fucking bullshit when they do this shit where there's like a trailer and they show a title, it's like I'd still get hyped for it because it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I think that's their next big one. The next one where, like, you know, maybe we'll get to see what Naughty Dog is working on. Maybe we get to see their next game.
Oh, that would also be really cool as well.
Maybe you know the that sort of weird elusive Uncharted game that might be from a different studio. Maybe we'll get to see that.
Oh, I don't care about that. Fuck off. I don't give a shit about that. Once you give an intellectual property to another studio, it's never going to be the same thing again. I don't know how I feel about it.
I am apprehensive about that one.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how to feel, but
it's a PlayStation exclusive, so the likelihood is it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it'll at least look good and feel good, and you know, even if they don't get the charm and the character and like all that stuff quite right, like Naughty Dog did, at least it'll be like a game that, you know, you don't feel bad for giving them your money.
No,
it's
still pretty good.
It's still polished and feels, you know, premium.
Yeah.
Because if you put enough money into anything, you can make it worth your money.
That is very true.
You know, even if it like doesn't make any sense and is really badly written and the level design's kind of messy, like it looks really nice, and it has great acting too. So
yeah, exactly. That's all
stuff
I need.
like that.
I want Bloodborne remaster. Please.
I mean, that's been rumored again leading up to this event. It's been rumored that we're getting a Bloodborne.
Random guy has mentioned it, and people are going.
I know, it happens every time there's a PlayStation event. There's a rumor from someone that's like somewhat involved in the industry that's like, oh, Bloodborne 2 or Bloodborne remake or whatever. Like, oh my god, I hope so though.
I do want it.
It would be good.
I don't need a remake. I would like a remaster where it upscales textures, you know, stuff like that. Maybe makes
I don't even need a full-on remake. Yeah,
definitely don't need a remake. It's only like 8 years old.
But I also do think that's what they're doing. That's why, like I said this before, but I think that's why it's taken them so long. Because a remaster's easy. Like, it's like a year job. You just get fucking someone to make a, you know, remaster, port it over, upscale, higher FPS.
Well,
but like the fact
that Blue Point remake.
I think that's why it's taken so long for them to announce or say anything. Because I just can't understand why. Like they know it would make money to just to port it to PS5 and upscale, and
they've got to be aware at this point. The people working in marketing at From Software are probably like, just got a bunch of fucking tweets again about Bloodborne remaster, guys.
Yeah, like they know. They obviously know, and I think that they're thinking like, how can we maximize profits? Well, you look at Demon Souls, that cost premium price, the $70, right? Like, we can't do that for an 8-year-old game if it's just a remaster. What if we remake it like we did Demon Souls? Now we can sell it for full price.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're doing.
Well,
but they
I'll
obviously,
take a remake as well. I wouldn't be mad at it because that just
Yeah,
gives me
no.
another excuse to 100% Bloodborne again.
I would
so I'd be
buy
fine.
it. I haven't even finished Bloodborne yet, but I'd buy it.
Yeah, you're fucking struggling
So-
on Mikolash. I witnessed it firsthand. First time I've ever seen someone have trouble with Mikolash.
I struggled. The only two bosses in that whole game that I've struggled on is Mikolash and the Witches of
Which
Hemwick.
is a fucking Hemwick.
Those are the only two bosses that I've struggled on in Bloodborne. The rest have been a breeze.
Oh, you should play Dark Souls 3
Oh,
soon.
man.
Wait, which ones have you played? Demon Souls, Bloodborne?
Demon Souls and Bloodborne,
Maybe
yeah.
Sekiro next then.
I might do
makes the most
Sekiro
sense.
next, and then I might do just go Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and then finish it off with Elden Ring and actually fucking play
Yeah,
it.
and
Don't
then finish
fucking
it off with
stream
Elden
it
Ring.
either.
Yeah, I should probably just play it on my own time.
You
or
probably
something.
you could probably play it on your Steam Deck. Is Elden Ring?
Yeah,
Can you play it on
yeah,
Steam
yeah,
Deck?
yeah. I could. It's
How
compatible.
would that run? Would that be good? I don't know if that'd be good or not.
Probably all right. I mean, most of the like performance boost comes from because the resolution is like a lot lower because it's obviously on a little screen.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run it at 1080p even. Like it's lower than that,
I see, but it still looks good.
but it still looks good. Yeah, because it's a tiny little screen.
Yeah, yeah.
So I could. Yeah, I could.
I
could do
feel
that.
like once going through all of the Souls games, you'll appreciate what Elden Ring is a little bit more. I
Yeah.
do think the linear games, looking back, I think like Bloodborne probably plays a little bit better because of the way the world is structured. It funnels you into certain places, you know, like Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, those sort of linear games.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring is like an amalgamation of everything From Software has done. It's like this love letter to fans of the franchise. It's just it's so fucking good. I love it
Yeah.
so
No,
much.
there's definitely like there's parts of Elden Ring I do really like. I think my biggest issue with it is just that, like, compared to the linear games, there's elements of it that feel, I don't know what the word is. Like, I want to say lacking, but I don't know if that's what I mean. But it's
It
like,
feels underwhelming in certain aspects.
yeah, like the legacy dungeons are really cool. Like
they're
those are great. But then there's like, you know, you'll go, oh, let's go over here. There's a little secret entrance, and you go in, and it's like, oh, this kind of looks like one of the 4 dungeons I've already been in. Like, it looks
I
very
do
similar.
agree
You got the
the
same
copy and
enemies. The
pasted
boss at the end
areas-
is the same.
Yeah, the copy and pasted areas were a little bit disappointing, but there's also like little towns and destroyed villages you can go to, and like there's other dungeons that aren't legacy dungeons, that aren't like main dungeons, but they do play like old Dark Souls levels. They're completely optional. You don't have to do them. You can stumble across them. Bosses in the open world, stuff like that. Nice secrets to find.
Yeah, there are definitely some good parts. Like, I do remember going in some of these villages and, like, you find a little boss in there and you have a go and you fight that and then you beat it and you're like, hey, I got my souls, you level up and you build out your character a bit more. And
Yeah, and the side quests in Elden Ring are great too. Like the one with the dude that's got the wolf head. I forgot what his name is.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
His side quest is fucking amazing with Rani, the sort of witch that's got the... I don't know if she's in the cutscene at the beginning of the game, like the CGI cutscene. She's like a witch with like a blue hat and like
Yeah.
She's got like one eye closed, I think. Like that's the thing that's multiple Elden Ring characters have. I don't know what that is. But yeah, like the world is really cool and how they got George R. R. Martin to write like a whole world and like a mythos with like gods and like all these civilizations, and then the writers at From Software took that and like sort of distorted it and like turned the clocks forward thousands of years until those kingdoms had fallen, and then that's where Elden Ring is set. It's just so cool. Like the lore
that
is
very
amazing.
cool.
It's probably some of their strongest out of any of the Souls-like games. Elden Ring has some of the strongest lore.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
I do wonder, after Armored Core, what are they going to do? What's their next Souls-like game going to be?
It's true.
Like, will they go down a Nintendo route and do a Elden Ring 2, similar to Tears of the Kingdom, is like a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, or will they go, let's do something brand new,
I think they'll
like
do
a
something
Bloodborne
new.
or Sekiro?
I don't think they'll do a Elden Ring 2 ever. I don't think it will happen. They may do another open world game, but I don't think it'll be Elden Ring 2. I think Elden Ring is a standalone thing, like how Sekiro is a standalone thing.
To be fair as well, like the original idea was that every game would be individual as well. Like,
Yeah, they never wanted to do Dark Souls 2 or
Because-
3, really.
like Miyazaki didn't do Dark Souls 2.
No.
And then did do Dark Souls 3, but it was almost like they were like, oh, we need to get him back to do this because the reception of 2 wasn't great, like, to do Dark Souls 3. But originally, yeah, he just wanted to do Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, like, these individual games. So I think, yeah, it probably makes sense the next game they do will be something sort of brand new.
I just know whatever they do, it'll be great, and I'll love it. And it'll just be that classic, like, From Software style that's just... You cannot get it anywhere else. Like, it's just something about the worlds they create and the characters that exist within them and the voice acting and everything is just so unique. I love it so much. But yeah, they'll do something great. I'm sure of it.
For sure, definitely.
I can't even imagine what they're gonna do after Armored Core and stuff. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be bussin'.
Yeah. And maybe we'll get to see a Bloodborne remake at this PlayStation event. Maybe
I do hope so. Some form of Bloodborne up, even if it's not a remake, even if it's like just a remaster or like an upscale, I'll take it. I prefer a remaster, to be honest, than just a standard upscale. After how much this has been fucking hyped up now, they've sort of made it difficult for themselves. Because I'm sure if it was just an upscale, people would be happy with it, the 60 FPS upscale, but it'd almost be like, I've waited this long for just the fucking.
But also,
update.
They can't sell that. Like,
no, they also.
So
can't
there's
sell
no
that,
way. Like,
true.
remaster at the very least, because at
I'll
least you can
take a
sell that for
remaster.
£40.
Yeah.
Whereas I genuinely do think they're going to go for a remake. I feel like they want that grandiosity of like, look, we're not just giving you a remaster, we're giving you this is Bloodborne, but again, and it's bigger and better and look at
if
how
they
good
do
it
that,
looks.
maybe they can rework the Chalice dungeons as well. I don't know if you've done any of the Chalice dungeons.
I've seen about them. I saw them in H-Bomber's video.
They're fucking hell. They are fucking hell on
They
Earth.
looked a bit fucked.
I had to do most of them for the platinum, and god damn, they have some of the hardest bosses in the game in there. Like, the ones in the main story are pretty manageable, even like the optional ones that you can do throughout the main story, but the Chalice dungeon bosses are fucked. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could rework those and actually make them interesting if they were to do a remake of it.
Yeah, they could.
Or maybe they'd choose to take them out entirely. I hope
Maybe.
not. I feel like that would be a bad remedy. I'd like to see him come back, but like with some really cool procedural generation.
I think it would be really, really funny if they do a remake, but the graphics are so good that it can't run at 60 FPS.
No,
it's
don't
locked
do
to 30.
Just give me a performance mode. I will play 60 FPS 1080p. I do not care
that would
that
be
much
so
about
fucking
4K.
funny.
I'd be so upset.
Oh, man.
Knowing then though, it'd be fine. Elden Ring
No,
looks beautiful.
It'd run. I think I
fine.
think they'd manage it. I mean, Demon Souls runs at 60, right?
Yeah, they're linear as fuck. So I mean,
But it
they
looks,
don't need to worry
looks
about
great.
performance. Yeah.
And a lot of games these days use like variable resolutions that also just like will reconstruct. And obviously some games don't look as good. Like Jedi Survivor has some issues with the reconstruction of resolution. But you look at like God of War Ragnarok, that looks incredible. Like you play that on performance mode, it just looks 4K. Like it looks, it's that you know, that graphical reconstruction.
It's a shame it's not worth a replay.
Incredible. Yeah, no, definitely never playing it again in my life. If I played that again, I had to use some footage of it for my Jedi Survivor video, and honestly, I just felt sick looking at it. I was like, I don't ever want to go back there again.
I think about Ragnarok, and it's just, I have no interest in playing it. I was playing it for so long trying to get through the side content, and most of the side content was just pretty shit.
Yeah.
Like, just pretty boring. Stuff in the crater was alright, but even then, thinking about it now, I spent too long in the crater.
I literally spent like 4 or 5 hours in that fucking area, man. Too much. It was just like too much bloat, way too much bloat.
Yeah, just
in that game.
Shit that doesn't need to be in there.
God of War 2018 was this wonderfully streamlined game that didn't have way too much content. Like you could probably finish everything in about 25 hours.
Yeah,
but like that's
it had the
so
Valkyries
much
and stuff. The Valkyries were great.
Oh,
they
the
were
Valkyries
fucking
were
brilliant.
so good. Yeah,
fucking amazing. And the fucking, what's they called? The Viking spirit things, the Berserker stones. Nowhere near as good as the Valkyries were.
Nowhere near as good.
There's some good ones, but they're also like, they're just not as impactful as the Valkyries were in God of War.
No, there's something about when you fight a Valkyrie, like just the way that it's constructed. I can't explain it, and a lot of people have disagreed with me, and like that's fine, but I do like the combat in Ragnarok. I just don't feel is as fun as 2018, and I can't really put it into words why. But 2018's, there's something about the progression and the way you learn every move that feels just like baked into the experience in a way that like feels so satisfying by the end, because you've learned every single move. They haven't just like popped up. They aren't just sort of randomly there and randomly taught to you or anything. Like every single one is like you remember when you learned that move or that skill. And it all plays into this experience of progression through the game by the time you're at the end fighting, you know, the final Valkyries and everything.
Yeah.
And Ragnarok just doesn't have that. Like, it's just...
I will admit, though, there is a fair few abilities that are in Ragnarok that I know that if I replayed the first one, I would miss them.
Like what?
I can't think of any right now, but I remember as I was playing it, I was like, damn,
you know
this
for
is
sure,
like...
though.
Yeah, I just remember playing it and being like, this ability here was like really useful. This wasn't in the first game. And it's like, it just feels like a nice addition. Obviously, the Draupnir Spear as well. I think the Draupnir Spear is a fucking brilliant addition.
Oh, I
to
like the spear a lot.
Ragnarok.
Yeah. And the way it's incorporated into the story too, and the context and the character.
Oh yeah,
work,
that bit is brilliant.
It's the greatest moment in the game.
I think it is as well.
It's the one part of Ragnarok to me that follows in the footsteps of 2018 in that it's a gameplay element that has huge consequence to the character and is like a huge part of the story, and it makes sense. Like, it's not as good as when you get the blades, obviously. No. That's a better moment, but it's done in the same way. Like, it's got its same thing.
It's hard to compare the two moments, to be fair, like with the blades and the Draupnir Spear, because it's got its own emotional weight to it. The Draupnir moment, like, it's just this beautiful character moment between Brock and Kratos, and like, it's obviously an integral weapon for the story. Like, Kratos needs it to fight Heimdall and whatnot. It's just, it is a brilliant moment. You know, now you said it, it probably is my favourite moment in the game, without a doubt. It's just so well done.
I think the philosophy behind that moment of like how it was designed to work as part of the game is just everything that 2018 did with every moment in the entire story.
Yeah.
Whereas Ragnarok doesn't do it often.
Mm-hmm.
But when it does do it, like it did with the Draupnir Spear, it's really good. They just don't do it enough. And they spend way too much time segregating gameplay from story.
Should have made it a trilogy. Should have made it a trilogy and should have made the last game Ragnarok instead of rushing to it.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, it's so weird. Sometimes I'll read my comments on my Ragnarok video and people will be like, wait, you wanted this game to be even more bloated by turning it into 2? I'm like, no. The reason it's bloated is because it's one game. Like, it wouldn't be bloated if you made 2 games. Yeah, the bloat would be gone.
The fuck are they on about?
Like, you would remove the bloat because you would then you'd condense the bits that needed condensing and you would expand the bits that needed expanding. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Ragnarok, what they've done is the opposite. They've expanded on things that don't need it and condensed things that needed to be expanded on. Mm-hmm. But if you expanded on those things, you'd have such a weird lopsided game where like you'd have, 70% of the game would be Freya's arc. And it would be like, why is this the focus of the game? It's like, well, you need that focus to do the story justice. But to do the game justice, you can't have 70% of the game be Freya's arc, which is why you needed 2 games, where the middle game could have been all about character arc and character development. And then the third game is all about story and plot and, tying up loose ends and Ragnarok itself. And,
Yeah, I mean, if the second game was about character arcs, maybe then it would make sense that Freya suddenly changes her mind about not wanting to kill Kratos over, you'd have a whole game to explore that, opposed to one moment where she goes, I guess it don't matter then, that's alright.
Yeah, oh man, Freya is so bad.
Freya becomes a fucking husk of herself. She's great in the first couple hours of the game, like just before Atreus goes to visit her. I think she's brilliant, and then she suddenly just rolls over and becomes this weird shell of herself for the rest of the game.
It's so weird because she is so interesting at the start, and then she just becomes whiny as fuck. Like, she won't shut up.
And almost too nice as well.
And too nice, yeah. It's like she's just such a weird, because she's got to be with you for you to have a companion. Yeah. But she also can't be too nice to you until you've got to that poignant story moment where she flips that switch. Mm-hmm. But then she's talking with, it's just such a weird dynamic. It just doesn't work. Yeah. It's just not engaging at all. And the whole time, you're like, well, she's going to turn back good again, isn't she? The ballsiest thing they could have done there was for her to not. Like,
that is
and I think,
yeah.
like, I said this in my video, like, in that moment, Freya should have tried to kill Kratos.
Yeah.
And it should have been this moment where she's not trying to kill Kratos because she wants to kill Kratos. She's trying to kill Kratos because she wants to die in that moment. She's like, I cannot come to terms with my actions. I can't take responsibility for what I've done. So I just want Kratos to just, put an end to it. I will die. And it also then it mirrors the whole thing, because Kratos talks about like seeking death throughout the game and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been this mirror image where he has to look at himself in the mirror almost and be like, oh, that's what I'm doing, but from a different perspective. And then you don't have to use the Heimdall moment as a moment to humanize the actions of Kratos. You use him killing Freya, and you're like, oh god, this was bad.
God,
killing gods is not good, is it? Because then,
could you imagine having to kill Freya?
Exactly, like, you could have that moment where he's strangling her and she dies, and it's like, then you don't need to then turn the camera to Mimir and have him go, oh brother, that wasn't good,
that was mental, brother.
Like, you'd be like, oh my god, we came to know Freya, we loved Freya, and we had to do this. Like, oh, killing god, this is not the right answer, like, we need to look for another way. And then, like, it would play into the story
instead of the story just telling you, wow, you killed Heimdall, who's a cunt, and everyone wants to kill him, but it's bad.
Just a dick. His one character trait is being a high school bully. That's his one fucking character trait, and I'm meant to feel bad that he killed him. No, I don't feel bad.
I feel great. I feel fucking good. Great after killing him.
Fuck that guy.
Because I knew it was never... the prophecy bullshit was never going to fucking come true anyway. So it's like, when I killed Heimdall, I wasn't like, oh, God, now everyone's going to die and Kratos is going to die. I was like, no, he's going to be fine because he's fucking Kratos. Like, they're not going to kill Kratos in God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, no, it was...
I never thought that was going to happen. Like, they try and make you think that shit's going to happen, but it's like, you're not going to do it.
And the thing is as well, the reason it worked so well in the first game is because it's this offhanded thing at the end where you're like, oh, maybe this is something that'll happen. But then when the second game opens and the entire plot is prophecy, you're like, okay, so it's not going to happen, obviously, because you're making it the central plot of the story. So if it just happens, all you're doing is reinforcing that the prophecy is real and you can't do anything to change it and you have no free will, which is a terrible theme for a story to have.
Terrible story, yeah.
So obviously Kratos is not going to die, obviously.
Yeah.
And also the fact that, like, you've got the mural there at the end of 2018 and then you go to Ironwood and there's just a different mural, but it's supposed to be the same one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, boys, it's the wrong one we put there in Jotunheim, boys. Sorry.
It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. It's such a dumb game. Fucking hell. God damn, God of War Ragnarok.
Fucking shame. Such a fucking shame. And that's not to say that I do like Ragnarok, but I don't want to replay it. I don't want to replay it. Maybe that means I don't like it. I don't know. I have a really, really weird opinion of it because I loved it when I first played it. I was like, what a fucking banger. And stewing on it, I noticed as I was playing it, there were certain moments that I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I couldn't explain why or what about it I disliked. It was just like there were certain moments that I was just like, didn't hit the same as I wanted it to.
Yeah, the moments just don't seem like they land very well. Like, there's moments in 2018 where it happens and it's so satisfying to see, like, it just, like, but it's, like, subconscious, like,
and fucking... Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, carry on. What were you saying?
I was going to say, fucking Atreus dipping back and forth from Asgard every 5 seconds is so jarring as well. It's like whiplash constantly. I didn't like that aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's another symptom of it being 2 games in one game. Like, they're trying to do 2 things, but by doing that, like, you're flip-flopping, and then you like, they literally spend most of the game removing the central component that made the first one so compelling, which is Kratos and Atreus' relationship. And you get barely any of it in Ragnarok because they're separated for so much of it.
It doesn't make sense, though, because people don't criticize Ragnarok for that, and yet they fucking hate The Last of Us 2 for doing the exact same thing. You know, like Ellie and Joel's relationship not being a focal point of that game. But obviously that doesn't mean you can't do a good game where the 2 characters are split apart, because Last of Us Part 2 is fucking brilliant, but...
Yeah, you definitely can do it.
Maybe God of War was leaning too heavily into that, and that's almost its downfall. Or maybe they should have just fucking put more of it in the game, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, because I think about it and I'm like... there's so many things that you'd have to change to get it to work. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people said to me, I get comments all the time, they're like, well, where would you have cut off Ragnarok to make it a second game? I'm like, no. You don't just, like, cut the game in half.
Different. Yeah,
it would be totally different.
Yeah.
It'd have to be so differently structured, different focal points. Like, the characters would have to go in vastly different directions.
Stupid, aren't they?
They just don't understand. Like, I just don't know how you can't understand what I'm saying, man. Like, yeah. I'm not saying you split it directly in half. Like, I'm saying you rewrite it.
If you have a random cutscene, it just ends. What the fuck's wrong with you? Santa Monica could do no wrong.
Oh god, it's so I don't know. It is a shame the game turned out the way that it did, and it is weird
kind
to
of
look
left
at
me
it.
with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth regarding the God of War franchise. Like, when I think about it, it's just like, oh.
And the thing is, right? Like, the reason, and you know, people don't like to say, no, you can't just say one person's responsible, but Cory Barlog is responsible for what made the first game so good. His direction, like, he directed all those people so well. Like, he managed to, you know, be in charge of this team. He's such a great leader. And also on top of that, it was based on his own personal experience of being a father. And, like, that, it was very, very personal to him. And he had, like, you know, he had the things planned out for where to go. And then when you take that story and you give it to someone else and they try to mold it into something that makes sense, you lose all of those tiny little moments of meaning.
What, was Cory Barlog not involved in Ragnarok then?
He oversaw it partially. Basically, he originally was going to be the creative director, but then he left and he decided to go work on another project. So someone else was the creative director. It also had like 8 writers instead of 3, which is how many they had for 2018.
It's already a bad idea.
Yeah, way too many writers. And then, like, none of these people have that emotional connection to it. Eric Williams, maybe, but they don't have the same connection that Cory and that small team had. And then you've got, you know, he oversaw parts and they would come to him with ideas and say, what do you think of this idea? And he would say yes or he would say no.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like, he didn't have an integral part in working it out and, like, writing it down and dealing with that stuff. Like, he gave them a couple of bullet points. Yeah, like, he gave him a couple bullet points. He was like, Kratos needs to kill Heimdall. Odin has to die, Kratos has to live, Atreus has to leave. Like, those are, like, the few bullet points he gave. Like, these things have to happen. You can do whatever else you want around it.
And it was the whatever else they wanted that sort of fucked the rest of it.
Yeah, and it's like, this is why, like, when I finished the game, I remember feeling so conflicted because the ending did make me shed a tear.
Oh, it's
good.
And
I remember I was very emotional. I was like, that's really, really great stuff. But how we got there feels wrong and weird and just like strange path of just nonsense,
just winding bullshit.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, how does prophecy for, like, I'm not going down this rabbit hole again. I mean, you got can see the Norns, in the background
these interdimensional fucking beings talking about prophecy. It's like, nah, they were just wrong.
It doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, the Norns literally say, they're like, oh, prophecy's not real. You're just so predictable. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense. None of it makes any fucking sense.
They've got like these threads of fate that they're fucking walking among. It's just like, nah, we don't actually do any of that.
And like the whole thing about like Kratos, his entire arc in the first game was being unpredictable. That's the point. That's the whole fucking point. So how is he now being so predictable that they're able to predict what he's going to do? And they don't anyway, because it doesn't turn out that way. So they were just
wrong. They don't show up again either.
And so you're telling me they've never been wrong? All they do is predict things based on people's predictability, and they've never ever been wrong ever.
Yeah. They've never been wrong.
This is the first time they've ever been wrong.
Odin existing in the universe, who's massively unpredictable.
It just doesn't make sense. None of it makes any fucking sense.
It's fucking stupid.
It's like the entire story is grounded in this like concept that just isn't explored and doesn't make any sense. And like, how does the Giants' prophecy work? Like, is their prophecy real? Because it seems real. I mean, it has to be, right? Because Atreus has a dream about what happens in Ragnarok, and then it happens in Ragnarok. So that's foresight. That's real. Like that, but then it's not either. Like, it's just the Giants can be wrong as well, I guess. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of any? The entire world is based in prophecy and fate, and then you're just going to turn around and say, well, none of it's real. It doesn't exist.
Maybe,
all Kratos had to do was decide he didn't want to die. So what about everybody else? Did no one just decide once they didn't want to die and have it not happen? I just don't know.
It's maybe a theme of the story is to be like, there can be no true prophecy. Like, it's not a thing that can exist.
Yeah, I mean, that is the point. That is what they're trying to say.
A little bit silly in the way that it's told.
It's like, you definitely can tell that story. I just think they told it terribly.
Well, to highlight another great moment in the game, I do really like the scene before Ragnarok with Atreus and Kratos in the tent. I love that scene so much.
Yeah, that's another great scene.
I think it's fucking brilliant. And the flashbacks with Lao Fei as well, I really like too.
Oh, I hate those so much.
Oh, did you not like them?
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I hate that we know what she looks like. Like, I don't.
She looks like Karen from Daredevil.
Yeah, I do not think you can ever do it justice, because the way she's built up in 2018, I didn't need to see her. I'm like,
I agree with that.
You cannot depict the one character that Kratos could fall in love with and could be vulnerable around. Like, I don't want to see that person, because you can't do him justice. Like, that person is like,
that is pretty true.
This mystical concept that like grounded Kratos. I don't need to see that person. Like, I want to see her through his eyes, which is the way that he talks about it to Atreus. The way that we see her in these murals. This great warrior that was also a great mother. And a great wife. Like, that she is not that in Ragnarok. She is just like, she's just so average and nothing and like basic, and it's like, okay. And also, like, every scene with her happens at these poignant moments where so Kratos didn't even decide not to die. She just gave him a vision right at the end where she went, remember, you don't have to kill people all the time. And he went, bloody hell, I don't, do I? I actually don't have to do that all the time.
Like the story of the first game.
Exactly, it was the story of the first game. He's like, we need to be better. Already. But then Faye has to keep telling him all the time at these like pivotal character moments, remember this conversation we had? That's probably important right now.
Well, maybe it's like
how is she doing that anyway?
Well, yeah, how is she doing that? It doesn't make sense. But maybe it's like, you have to be better even when faced with the possibility of losing your son. Like, you can't then fall back into your old ways as a result of, Atreus being in danger. You still have to stick to that idea of, not killing people just to get what you want.
Yeah, but I still think the issue with it is that she tells him. Like, it takes away all of his autonomy.
It's not his own realization. He doesn't come to the conclusion himself.
Yeah, it's just this plot Deus Ex Machina comes in the form of Karen from Daredevil to tell him the thing he needs to know so that he knows it and the story happens the way that it's supposed to happen.
It does seem like a lot of the solutions to Kratos' problems come from either flashback from Lao Fei, talking to Mimir, or talking to like Freya, and that he never comes to his own conclusions throughout the course of the game. It's like someone else tells him what to do.
Yeah, he takes a huge backseat for some reason. Whereas I think that it was so interesting in the first game, in 2018, where, Kratos is going on this arc where he discovers what things really mean. Like, there is no external intervention. Like, Atreus has that effect on him and has that, like, obviously it's due to Atreus' presence that Kratos becomes the man he is by the end of that game.
Yeah.
But he comes to that realization himself. Like, he realizes what he's supposed to do. And a lot of people as well, and I hate this too, is that there's the scene when he gets the Blades of Chaos in 2018, and he walks through Athena, and he's like, I'm your monster no longer. Like, that scene to me only works so well if Athena's not really there and he's imagining her.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, because then what Athena is a manifestation of his inner anxieties, manifesting as this thing that is tying him down to his old life, and he's actually arguing them with himself. And what Athena's saying is actually, it's Kratos saying it to himself. Like, he believes those things about himself.
Well, that's what I saw it at. I never fucking thought it was actually fucking Athena.
Interestingly enough, there is a prequel comic where Athena actually is there. So canonically, based on a comic, I guess Athena technically actually was there in 2018. It takes all the meaning out of that scene, because what it means is, and people don't seem to get this, right? But if Athena is actually there, what it means is Kratos was always he always had a clear head the whole time. He always knew what he actually thought about himself the whole time.
He never doubted himself.
He never doubted himself. There was no self-doubt. He was very headstrong in his own convictions the entire time. But if she's not really there, and it's a manifestation of his own feelings, then it's this inner conflict that is showing itself in such a cool way, and he finally overcomes that, and then he can be there for his son. It's amazing if she's not there, but people are like, no, she is there. So cool cameo, so cool when we saw Athena.
Cool. Do you guys remember Athena from God of War 2? Oh, such a good character. She's back in 2018 now.
Oh man,
fucking stupid. What do you mean she was there? What does she do in the future? What does she do later in the game? What does she do in Ragnarok? Nothing.
Yeah,
She's
doesn't
not
make
actually
sense.
there. That's bullshit. Whoever wrote the comic can fuck off.
Yeah, whoever wrote the comic is wrong. There's no way it was supposed to be that way in the game.
The only reason it's canon is because whoever wrote the comic was allowed to write a comic that is canon. That's the only fucking reason it's canon. Not because it's good, because that's shit. My headcanon is that she's not there. What the fuck is that?
But it just goes to show again, like we talked about this last episode, and not to sound fucking high and mighty, but people do just consume art fundamentally differently. There's a lot of people that want it to be Athena to actually be there because it's cool that Athena is there, and that's all that matters to them. And like that's fine. If that's all that matters to you, that's fine. But I feel like you're doing a disservice to the story and the themes and all of that stuff in God of War 2018 because it's so much more than that.
It's weird. It's like Disney's fucked everyone's brain with all these cameos and shit. It's
they
like
really have.
Dude that I work with. He's a great guy, obviously. He's a cool guy. But we were talking about Star Wars, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka show because of all the possible characters that we could see coming back in it and stuff." And it's like,
it's so depressing.
You're excited for something so you can point at the screen and go, "Oh, that character's from Rebels."
Yeah, that's like, so depressing. Like, that's such a depressing way to consume media. Like, especially when there's
so much good stuff out there. Like, it's like Connected Universes is ruined media.
It's like fuck people's brains. People's brains are scrambled because they just want to see the next big cap. Like, it's that dopamine rush you get of recognizing something. And I feel like it does take a bit to kind of like step back from that and go, no, that's not good. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Because like, I mean, I feel like I was like that for a bit. It was cool. Like you'd watch, The Mandalorian, and like this character shows up and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you realize like, but why do I care?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't.
What does it add to the story? Does it make it a more compelling story that Luke Skywalker with his fucking stitched on face has now walked in shot in Mandalorian? No.
Yeah. And it's like,
anything.
You look at, I've been watching Andor. I've not finished it yet, but I've watched about 4 or 5 episodes of it. It's so good. Like, it's such a good show.
I've heard it's good, yeah.
And so far there's been no cameos whatsoever. And it's just so good. Like, it's just such a compelling show with great character work.
Like it's a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, really good. And yeah, I just think it is just wild the way that people, view things now, and the way that people see like, a cameo and stuff. And Disney really have fucked shit up.
Yeah.
And it is wild that that's the way things have gone, but people love that, and most people will continue to love that because I don't know, I guess I don't even know. Like, I genuinely don't even know what it is, or like how do you get past it, or like
people love things they recognize. To be fair, a lot of people are like unwilling to enjoy things that is outside of what they already know. So it's like if they're watching Star Wars, they're like, just give me the characters I know, so I can be like, I like them, they're cool. Now I can get on with my day. They don't want like an actual story about new characters, because it's difficult to get invested in. It's like, oh, now I have to fucking get invested in these new characters that are fucking annoying because I don't know them. This is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, which is maybe why doing Andor was a good idea, because the main character, you already know him. Like, he was a, decently, well, not a good character in Rogue One, but like he was cool.
Sure, he was
and
fucking
like
no one.
The actor like sells him and makes him, you like him. I'm like, I like him. Like, I like Andor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's watch a show about him. And then you meet all these new characters and you do all these new things and these new story beats. And oh my God, it's just so good. Like, Andor shows you how good Star Wars can be. It's such a rich universe where you can tell such interesting stories. And the most interesting ones are the ones where they don't end up crossing over with major Star Wars characters unless like narratively necessary. So like if Luke Skywalker showed up in Andor, it wouldn't be better. It would also make no sense. But
True,
like
that'd be fucking mental.
You know, like if Han Solo showed up in Andor, it wouldn't make the show better. Like, because then it would make it worse. Because then you'd be like, why? Like, just don't have characters. Like, this is a galaxy. It's huge.
Fucking the Solo movie. Why was Darth Maul in that? What's the point?
Oh my god, Darth Maul's fucking cameo at the end where he ignites his lightsaber so you know it's him. So stupid. Fucking Emilia Clarke just gives him a FaceTime call at the end of the movie, and that's
for no reason. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Great film.
God, I will say though, to be fair to Darth Maul,
to be fair.
Yeah, Solo was alright. Darth Maul, other than that one scene in Solo, has been handled really well as a character.
Yeah, like Clone Wars, and then his send off in Rebels, like
Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, I'm not a big fan of make a character come back to life, but the way it was handled with Maul is really good, and like it just served the narrative. Like, it only made the character better, and it did more for Obi-Wan. He
became like one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars after being just a guy that was in Phantom Menace once.
Yeah, and that's great. But then you look at like Boba Fett, and it's like, probably should have stayed dead.
Yeah,
you know,
who cares about fucking Boba Fett?
Like,
fuck off. Why does everyone find him so cool?
I don't know.
Dies.
I genuinely do not know why people like Boba Fett. I've never understood
it. He gets thrown in the Sarlacc pit. Is that him? That's him, isn't it?
Yeah, he does. Han Solo kills him. He's blind. It's almost like an MCU moment. He turns around with a pole and accidentally hits Boba Fett's jetpack, and it sends him flying into the Sarlacc pit, and he dies.
So it's like, imagine watching the Book of Boba Fett and getting really invested. Oh, this guy's so fucking cool, and you just remember, he dies in a slapstick way.
That's literally all he does. That's literally all he fucking does. He's in Empire, and he just kind of stands around brooding, captures Han Solo.
People just like him because he's got cool armor on. That is it.
Yeah, that's
really why they
it.
made the Mandalorian, because it's basically Boba Fett. Like, he's got the cool armor. Look at him. Look at his cool Mandalorian
that was the point.
armor.
That was literally the point of that show, was to fill in the spot of what people think Boba Fett as, and be like, let's make a cool, stoic, this character. Then let's ruin that show as well. Yeah. It's crazy. You look at season 1 of The Mandalorian, right? It's a gorgeous show. Like, it looks really good. I didn't love the show's storyline or whatever. I didn't like vibe with the show in general, but like, it looks
cinematography is good.
So nice. And then you look at season 3 and you're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the actual fuck happened? Why is Jack Black here on a green screen?
And Lizzo. I saw the clip of that where like Grogu like jumps weirdly and like
oh my god,
moves around really weird. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Jesus Christ.
And people are like, no, Star Wars has always been goofy, okay? It's always been fucking goofy.
One time in 1977, a stormtrooper hit his head on the top of a door.
Yeah, and it's like, fair enough, Star Wars can have cheesiness, but there's a difference between cheesiness and just being shit.
Yeah. It's a fine line to walk.
It is. And Star Wars walks that line incredibly badly.
It's like
a drunk man.
What it is, right, is when they do those moments in modern Star Wars, they want the audience to laugh. But the Ewoks, for example, in Return of the Jedi, you weren't supposed to laugh at them. Like, they weren't supposed to be funny. They were earnest.
They just happened to be kind of funny as well.
Yeah, they happened to be kind of funny. But the point was that, like, they're a race that you sort of like underestimate, and then they help take out the Empire. And you got even that one scene where one of them dies and his mate is like shaking his dead body, like trying to get him to wake up, and it's like, what the fuck? That's so fucking sad.
The Empire's fucking mental. They're killing these cute bears on this nice little forest planet. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then you've got, like, obviously what they decided to end up doing then with Jar Jar Binks, which is that, he is just a comic relief character.
Alyssa.
Who, could have been a lot better than what he was. Did you know
Monsters out there leaking in here. It's all sinking, no power.
When you said thinking, we say in trouble. That's my favourite line. Did you know they brought that actor back in, I think it was The Mandalorian season 3, possibly?
Yeah, he's a Jedi,
else?
Isn't he?
Ahmed Best is a Jedi, yeah.
It's because every Jedi survived Order 66, so it's
fine. I think that's genuinely funny, because they've done a cameo, but it's a cameo of an actor and not a cameo of a character.
That's
and
true.
It's like, it's just so, like, it's just such a weird, like, metatextual level of like how cameos function now.
Yeah.
It's like, this actor played Jar Jar, and everyone hated Jar Jar, but everyone loves the actor now because he got so much hate. And so let's have the actor show up as a Jedi, and everyone's cheering because they're like, yeah, the actor for Jar Jar is finally appreciated.
We all hated on him so much that he contemplated suicide. Yeah, it's that guy.
Oh God, it's so
that boy.
Stupid, man. And God, yeah. I mean, like you said, every Jedi has now survived Order 66. Like,
yeah, it's fine.
There is no sanctity to that original storyline that Luke was like the last Jedi.
I saw this tweet the other day, actually, that was like, originally the concept for Order 66 was going to be the clones gradually losing faith in the Jedi and choosing to turn against them instead of having a chip in their head that was like, oh, just do it. Which I think is way more interesting, because the whole story of the prequels was to be like, people were losing faith in the Jedi anyway. So to have the very clone troopers that were fighting for them turn on them and kill them is super interesting and way cooler to me than, yeah, they just had a chip in their head that made them all do it.
I can definitely see the value in that. I think that could be interesting. I think to me what was always quite good about just the chip thing is, and it's mainly Clone Wars that did it for me, is that seeing the clones, because they're on the front lines with the Jedi, becoming close allies with them and close friends. It's like the clones were the only people that had faith in the Jedi, because they were almost like, you know, like in Halo, where when the Master Chief shows up to a bunch of Marines, they're like, oh my God, it's the Master Chief, we're going to be okay.
That's what the Jedi are to the clones.
That's what the Jedi were to the clones. And so, like, having to, like, they formed a lot of strong bonds with these Jedi, too. Like, there's a lot of close relationships. Like, you look at Rex and Ahsoka and how they did that in Clone Wars. And it's like, I quite liked that aspect of it, because it's like getting to see
being forced to
kill people that they cared about.
Yeah.
And seeing that with Rex in season 7 of Clone Wars was really good. Like him trying desperately not to kill Ahsoka, like he's trying his best to fight against it and not give in. And I like that too. I liked that whole aspect of it, but I definitely think there could be merit without Clone Wars anyway. In the movies, like having it be I guess I am thinking about it
in the context of the movies, because I haven't finished Clone Wars, so it's like the scenes in Clone Wars, the scenes in the movies that depict Order 66 are pretty shit. It's just like random bunch of nameless clones killing basically nameless Jedi that haven't done fucking anything, like Ki-Adi-Mundi. Why should I care that he's being killed? I don't give a shit. All he said is, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? And he said nothing else for the entire
but don't you get it? Don't you get it? That is, despite the fact that originally that was a stupid line because it's the only thing he says. It's actually a really good line because Reddit made a meme about it. So now it's really good. That's
how it works. It's a base Reddit moment.
Do you know how fucking mental it is, right? That I put a tweet out about this, but like one of the biggest and most annoying like historical revisionism things that's happened is people saying the prequels are good, because they're not good. They're really bad, and they will be really bad for the rest of time. It's bad, man. It's so bad. Is it the strongest prequel? Yeah, definitely. But,
and do I like it? Yeah, I do fucking like Revenge of the Sith, and I don't care. But
that's fair.
It's not.
But it's also bad.
It's not a fucking stellar movie. It's just
it's
a bit shit. But I like it.
I watched it again for the first time in a while before Obi-Wan was coming out, because I was like, I want to gear myself up for Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's going to be sick, and then and then I watched Revenge of the Sith, and as I was watching it, I just felt really sad because I thought it was so much better. Like, I had it in my head for years that it was genuinely a decent movie. And I watched it and I was like, none of this makes any sense. Like, this is so stupid. What is going on?
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, first of all, Anakin's decision to fucking kill Mace Windu doesn't make any fucking sense.
It makes no sense.
He was a little bit mean to him on the Jedi Council, therefore he fucking kills him. A bit mental. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, the real reason is because, like, he genuinely believes that Palpatine is able to save Padme.
Why would he believe that? And why does he think Padme's going to die anyway?
She's fine. I mean, it makes sense on a conceptual level. Like,
she's fine though. She's a powerful senator.
No, but he thinks she's going to die giving birth.
Oh, well, just don't shag her then. I don't know. Surely they have fucking contraception in the Star Wars universe. What are we talking about?
She's pregnant.
Oh, already pregnant.
She's already pregnant. Do you not? You don't even remember it.
Wait. There's women dying from childbirth in the fucking Star Wars universe.
Yeah, but the reason... No, yeah, I guess, I don't know.
The reason is what?
The reason is he chokes her out, like... What? And then she died. He force chokes her. That's why she dies. Well, no, not often. Well, yeah, just that once.
That's like right at the end of the film. He's already
I know that.
But by that point.
but he's... I can't believe I'm defending Revenge of the Sith. He is seeing it in a vision. He's seeing her die in a force vision.
Oh, but he sees her and he doesn't see himself killing her.
No, he sees her dying during childbirth.
Okay, so why on Mustafar did he choke her then when she's pregnant?
Because he was angry. Does he do that? Like the anger overtakes him.
Oh, okay, that's classic.
And then he does it because he sees Obi-Wan come down.
Well, maybe he didn't deserve Padme then. Imagine
that.
No,
he didn't.
Some dude fucking chokes his wife out and he goes, "'Cause he was angry."
It's so funny too because like there's like no sympathetic reason for him to turn to the dark side. And also I kind of fucking hate George Lucas for calling it the dark side, because I don't think anyone is ever justified in turning to something called the dark side. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone is ever justified in going, you know what? My life ain't great right now. I'm going to turn to the evil side of the Force. Like, you're well aware it's called that for a reason, aren't you? Like, what are we doing?
Maybe the connotations of the words light and dark mean something different in the Star Wars universe, but that's just fucking conjecture. That's just bullshit that I've come out with. And that's what being a Star Wars fan is. It's coming out with bullshit to fucking...
to justify your terrible films.
Writing. Yeah, exactly. That's what people did with
Star
the sequels.
Wars,
That's what people did with the prequels, and that's what people did with the original trilogy, to trick themselves into thinking they're good. But, to be fair, the original trilogy is pretty good, but it's not as amazing as everyone wants to say it is. It's not this marvel of storytelling. It's just a fun bit of sci-fi, fantasy fun. Like, that's what the original film is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some heart.
There's some good stuff in there. Some good stuff.
But they're not marvels of storytelling.
No, I mean, it's still George Lucas at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's still got clunky dialogue. It's still got, like, you know, some dumb bits and bobs. But at least it was genuine. It told a story. It made sense. And the character arcs were there, and, like, had something to say. And it was just, you know, there's enough there that I'm like, that original trilogy, solid, good. Yeah. And it made way for a universe that has stories you can tell that are, like, that mean even more. It
certainly has stories you can tell.
That's an objective fact.
Has stories you can tell, guys.
I don't know whether Disney knows that, but it's definitely a thing, isn't it? There definitely are stories you can tell within the Star Wars universe.
Can't wait for
Jesus Christ.
Live action Ahsoka, where all the Rebels characters are in it.
Jesus Christ.
I can point at the screen and go, that's red-haired woman from Rebels. Oh, I like her.
Oh, God.
Now she's not animated. That's sick. That's really cool.
Making Ahsoka live action was the worst mistake they've ever had.
Stupid. I don't like her live action design.
She looks terrible.
She looks stupid. I'm sorry, Rosario Dawson. I swear she said some transphobic shit anyway.
Yeah, I think she's transphobic.
So no, I'm not sorry. Fuck you. I fucking think your Ahsoka outfit is shit. You look stupid in it.
Oh man, it's crazy because like you could have just done an animated. Honestly, no, don't. Her story's done. Like I don't even know what I'm trying to. Like she doesn't need more stories told about. Like for a start, right? She should have died in Twilight of the Apprentice. She should have died and stayed dead. The fact that they, like, you might not even know about this, right? But they brought no, it's in Rebels, right?
Okay.
She confronts Darth Vader. You've probably seen the scene. It's the one they copied in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, where she cuts his mask and then
and then
that's the thing that everyone who just knew Darth Vader when he was Anakin cuts his mask off and they have a moment.
Yeah, and she says, she's like, "No, Anakin, I'm not leaving you, not this time." And then Anakin like looks at her, and there's this brief moment where you think like, "Oh, maybe she's got through," and then he's like, and then you will die, and then that's when the doors close, and that's the last thing you ever see of Ahsoka. And like it's implied that she died, and it's like that's meaningful because she like, you know, what made one of the things that contributed to him becoming Darth Vader was when she left the Jedi Order and never came back, and like he felt betrayed by her, like he felt like he'd lost, you know, one person that he really cared about, and you know that was part of that fall. And then, you know, in the moment when she dies and is killed by Vader is when she actually stays with Anakin until the end. It's like, that's just a really good moment.
That is cool, yeah, that is cool.
But then, in Season 4 of Rebels, because Dave Filoni wanted Ahsoka back because he was so popular, he decided that there was a thing in Star Wars... Because she was so popular, he decided that he needed to invent time travel. And so, because the only way Ahsoka could possibly have survived that moment with Vader is if someone traveled back in time and saved her. That's the only way that it could happen, right?
But Obi-Wan survived the fight with Vader. Why could she not have just survived the same way?
Well, yeah, but thankfully
she beats
the writers...
him and then she goes, I'm just going to walk away.
He's like, I'm sorry, Anakin. I'm sorry. And then just walks off.
You were truly lost. But goodbye, I'm not going to kill you. Goodbye. I'm going to let you kill everyone first.
My God. like literally, like, you know, the blood of all the people from Alderaan are on his hands, to be honest.
They are.
But, yeah, so Dave Filoni was like, right, how can we bring Ahsoka back? Well, she obviously died there, so the only thing we can do is invent time travel. So they decided that by using the Force, you can go to this dimension called the Realm Between, and it's a door. It has doorways to every moment in all of history. And so Ezra finds the doorway that leads to Vader fighting Ahsoka and pulls her out and saves her.
That's fucking stupid.
That's mental. That's mental, isn't it? That's real and happened.
Oh my God, that's like some Doctor Who, like Clara saving the Doctor in every timeline situation, like where it's just the most stupid fucking writing ever. What is that?
I know, it's terrible, and it completely undercuts the emotional weight of that moment.
Does she question it, or does she just go, thanks for that?
I don't remember.
She's like, I was about to fucking die. You just saved me. Thank you so much.
Like, in that moment as well, would she not be, like, upset? Like, I wanted to stay there with Anakin. I made that choice.
Ezra was like, nah, we need a fucking solo show.
We need Ahsoka to have a solo show and to make cameos in The Mandalorian.
Wants to write more fucking TV series.
Oh, my God. God. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, Dave Filoni is the worst thing to happen to Star Wars.
Oh, God. Is he the one that wrote The Mandalorian, not Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau directed it.
Oh, he's the director, okay.
But yeah, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni together are the worst thing to happen to Star Wars.
They are a fucking horrible duo of men.
And it sucks because Dave Filoni is the one behind Clone Wars. Like, he's behind some of the best Star Wars. And then they just let him keep going. He just ended up making more bad shit. It just, like, oh man. It's like, I think Dave Filoni, he believes, like, he buys into the hype behind his characters. And he's like, oh, we need to do more with these characters because it makes people cheer at Star Wars Celebration. Yeah. And it's like...
Make something new, please.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'll watch it, or maybe I won't. I don't have much interest in Star Wars these days.
Yeah, it's the best stuff in Star Wars.
Clone Wars. People said that was the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread, and I couldn't even finish it.
Clone Wars is good.
So a lot of it is boring.
There is a lot of...
It is boring.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 seasons...
I was on season 4 and there was still boring shit.
Season 4 is good though.
Well, there was the stuff with like the fucking weird witches on that planet.
Oh, on Dathomir, the Night Sisters, yeah.
And
I love that arc.
What was the episode of the 2 brothers? Like the light and dark, and there's like Anakin sees a vision of the future.
Yeah, Mortis.
And he turns to the dark side immediately.
That's so good.
I like that shit.
Good. That is so good.
That shit is really good.
Yeah, I like that one.
There is some great stuff in Clone Wars, but people do not mention the boring bollocks where they're just standing on a ship on the bridge going, how do we take out these droids? So I don't fucking care.
You have like an entire arc about that one separatist leader who's a big spider. Do you remember him?
Oh, I don't even fucking know.
Well, he's the greatest character of all time. I needed 6 episodes about him.
Or
that's
like
what I needed.
A 3-part episode dedicated to, we're on a planet and there's a civilization that doesn't want to help us in the war, but the separatists are now harassing them, so we have to save them. It's so fun.
There's at least 12 of those, isn't there?
It's shit. It's fucking shit.
And you got like a 4-part arc about Jar Jar Binks pretending to be a Jedi.
That episode was more fun than the episodes where it's about saving some shit fucking planet that I don't give a shit about. Like, we're on an ice planet now, and there's these really primitive guys, but they're good. They're good. We save them, and there's a woman that translates them. The ice planet, and there's those yetis that live on it, and they're like fucking smashing shit about. And then the fucking separatists come over, and they're like, "You better fucking give us this planet," and they're like, "No," and they're like, "Well, we're gonna fucking kill you." They start killing them.
Yeah, I mean there are definitely some good stuff. Like I like all the stuff
There's
with
good moments.
Ventress and
Ventress is great. Like when Dooku betrays her and shit like that.
Yeah, that's a great
with those
arc.
episodes that are about politics and about the war. There's really good stuff intertwined with it, but there's also a lot of stuff that I don't care about.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
think
just
there's
me being impatient though. I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of moments where they do some like interesting political stuff, and then they go, but we can't do too much politics because it's a kids show, so let's go fight some droids for a bit.
Yeah, but
and
then
it's
even
like,
sometimes the politics is boring. Like the fucking episode where Padme seduces that guy, and they have to get that fucking like Anakin's being cucked for the entire episode.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
jealous now. I'm fucking jealous, even though it's just a normal mission. She doesn't care about the man whatsoever, and then he gets all angry, and it's like, oh, just fuck off.
How else are they going to foreshadow that he's Darth Vader?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, but Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars is Darth Vader.
Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's dad? What the fuck? Spoilers, man. That's fucking spoilers.
Oh my god. Star Wars is funny.
Maybe the later seasons of Clone Wars are way more streamlined and better. That's what it seems to be. That the further you get towards the end, it just
they definitely
becomes
are.
like banger after banger.
Did you even watch? Did you even get to the Darth Maul stuff?
Darth Maul's weird brother was in it.
Yeah.
And that was alright, I guess. But Darth Maul
Savage Press.
Yeah, he wasn't really in it that much at the point that I was at. I was looking forward to it, but I was just like, fuck it now.
You should just go watch that arc.
Going to visit the fucking witches on that fucking planet, and I don't give a shit about them.
I like the Night Sisters.
They're alright. They're okay. But I guess because what I watched from it was just the weird like trial they did with that dude, and it's like, we're gonna make the perfect Sith for you, Count Dooku. He's gonna.
Oh yeah, that's where they make him the bodyguard, and then
Yeah. But it's like he's basically just Maul.
That's where at the end of that episode, when he gets betrayed or like he's like has to leave or whatever, he goes back to the Mother Towers, and he's like, oh bloody, what do I do now? And she's like, oh, you got to go find your brother. He's somewhere.
I actually think that was actually the last episode I watched.
Ah, you're very close to the Maul arc.
Yeah.
You should just go watch them.
Oh, I don't know.
End of season 4. Last 4 episodes of season 4.
Oh, I just know there's gonna be some bollocks in there.
I watched them last night. They're good.
Episodes, some shit bounty hunter attacking Coruscant or some bullshit.
Oh, okay, maybe watch the last 3 episodes of season 4.
Oh god.
there is one bounty hunter episode. Just
So another bounty hunter has infiltrated the Jedi Temple and he's stolen a holocron. It's done it again.
Oh man, no, but it's Boba Fett. It's about Boba
character.
Fett. He's a teenager in it. And he's got a terrible voice actor.
Does he not have the armor?
No.
So what's the point? It's the only cool
part.
Oh,
so now you want cameos. Now you want things you recognise, don't you?
Yeah, because Boba Fett's shit. I don't give a shit about him when he's a kid or when he's in fucking Book of Boba Fett. I don't give a shit about him.
Man.
Because as I said, I know that he dies in the Sarlacc pit because Han Solo is blind and
no, but he comes back. Comes back, and he's a good guy. Yeah, in Book of Boba Fett
set after.
Yeah, they bring him back to life. He crawls out the Sarlacc pit, and he's like,
"Of course they brought."
Right, I think I'm a good guy now. And it's like
that Sarlacc pit was fucking horrible. I don't want that to happen again. I'm a good guy now because that was fucked.
Oh man. Star Wars
is so fucking long. Jesus
I mean, one
Christ.
thing to talk about, to wrap up the Star Wars talk, one of the things that I've seen on Twitter, people that have been debated a lot, is whether Cal Kestis should be in a live-action show.
Nope.
Which,
I saw the tweet
agree.
As well.
Absolutely not. And the reason is not because I don't think he deserves it or anything.
He does. He really does.
But it's because it would. Why would you? Like, why?
He's already got an ongoing story currently happening, and I assume when they wrap up his trilogy, which I assume is going to happen, it's going to be a trilogy. There's not going to be a need to have him in anything else.
No, he needs to either be dead or
there's a resolution.
He needs to be somewhere far away because why? Because the way that Cal's going in Jedi Survivor, why wouldn't he be in The New Hope? Like, why wouldn't he be in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a reason why. And
it's because of the droid attack on the Wookiees.
And I think if you're telling a story about Cal, and there's stories you could tell. Sure, there are stories you could tell between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. There is probably stuff he did that you could tell stories about, but what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't feel the need to tell those stories as a part of the game, if they didn't feel they were important to his character arc, then they don't need to be told. Look, you're doing it for the sake of it,
Star
not
Wars
because it's
fans
necessary.
Want TV shows, autobiographies for their favorite characters.
They do.
In the form
That's
of
what they
TV
want.
Shows. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Every single moment of their lives, they're like, but there's a gap here in the fucking history of this character. I need more.
There's stories to tell there.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
do you know what?
It's such a fucking.
Do you know what makes the stories good? The stories are good because you don't know every fucking inch of their life. That's what makes a story good.
And
because you don't know everything.
This character's life, like they
yes,
they did something significant during this period, and what they were doing in between wasn't really that significant. That's why the story's being told.
Like, if everything they've ever done is significant, it makes everything insignificant because it becomes boring. Like,
it becomes a bunch of random adventures at that point.
Yeah, it's like they did it. They like during the Clone Wars. Yeah, it makes sense. They probably were doing something exciting every day.
That is true.
But like during other periods, like it just doesn't like like there doesn't need to be something for every. Just we don't need it all, right? We don't need it all.
Yeah, I don't need to see what Obi-Wan is doing. I wish we hadn't.
I wish it was just heavily implied by A New Hope, which it was, and we just never saw it, and we never saw it because I didn't need to see it.
It was really well done in A New Hope. It was just like I can just assume that he's knocking about on Tatooine, I don't know, meditating every now and then, doing shit in his cave, or like ingratiating himself in the nearby towns. Or,
yeah, seeing it was so much worse.
It was like
Obi-Wan
so much
cutting
worse.
up
Meat.
Oh my god! And then the guy, his boss, is like bullying one of the other guys, and Obi-Wan
like...
looks at him with so much shock on his face. And I'm like, dude, you've worked here for years. Has this never had? You're just learning now that your boss is a dickhead. Like,
bloody hell! Oh god! And he goes, "You fucking cunt! You're not getting any quarter portions from me."
Oh my god!
But yeah, Cameron
Monaghan.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't think that Cal should be in a TV show.
Yeah.
And that the writers of Fallen Order also agree, and that everyone working on it is on the same page.
Yeah, he said that they have like Cal's timeline and story is very sacred to them, and they don't want to go outside of that, which I think is
cool.
Great.
That
is
cool.
Great to hear. That, you know, people give a shit about the integrity of their story and don't just want to cash in on as many cameos as possible.
Super fucking
It is
rare.
very rare. It is very rare. Nobody has fucking integrity in this industry anymore.
Honestly.
They do not care. And it's like, fair enough, I guess. But at the same time, like,
it ruins stuff. Yeah,
have a lot of respect
for a Cal
for that.
TV series that was shit. It would ruin those games for you. You'd be like, I don't want to play these anymore.
Yeah,
this fucking show sucks.
Imagine he was just like totally out of character between the first and second game, and you've got this story about him and his mates, and you got fucking live action Grease, and like. It's just horrible.
Who's
it's
that?
just a
Who's
mess.
Grease? Is that
Grease
Shitto's brother?
Grease is the pilot of your ship in the games.
Oh, okay. I haven't played it, so I don't know.
But yeah, it's. I think people just forget that stories are like the way they are for a reason. It's hard to explain. Like, if what Cal was doing outside of the games wasn't important to the games, then it's not important.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not a story you need to tell, otherwise they would have told you it in the games.
Yeah. And
it's like...
Just let him have his little run.
We don't need to see everything they did. Like, yeah, maybe there is something that Cal did, like, during the Clone Wars as a Padawan that was a thing, like, significant, maybe, but we don't need to see it. Like, because that's not the story being told. Like... It's important to know that he was a Jedi during the Clone Wars. It's important to know that his master died. It's important to know that there are things he did between the first game and the second game. But we don't need to know what those things are. Like, that's not what's important, right? And that's how it is for, like, how you should tell stories. Certain things are incidental. They're not an opportunity to do a spin-off. Like, you learn about for example, in The Phantom Menace, terrible film, but the way Qui-Gon is used isn't to go, oh, we could have like 7 films about Qui-Gon before the Phantom Menace.
There's probably fans that want that. There's probably fans
there
that
probably
are like,
are.
Qui-Gon should get his own trilogy, and we can see how he goes from a Padawan to a knight to a master. That'd be so cool. And how he gets his green lightsaber. Oh my god, that'd be sick. And then the final scene could be him meeting Obi-Wan for the first time of the last film, and it'd be linking to Phantom Menace perfectly. And then I can watch Phantom Menace straight afterwards, and it would be so cool.
Oh my god,
that's what Star Wars fans want.
People, it's those people just. I think they see Star Wars as a real universe that exists, and it has to exist like a real universe does, where everyone has a life and you get to observe their life. But like, that's not what storytelling is. No. Like, Qui-Gon exists because he's a character that is used to bolster Obi-Wan and push him into the character arc that's actually important to the story of Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of Qui-Gon. What he did before the Phantom Menace doesn't matter.
It doesn't
None of it matters. Because the way that he is, the person that he is, the point of that is to play into Obi-Wan and then to play into his relationship with Anakin. That's the point.
Qui-Gon is cooler not knowing what he did anyway, because it's like he's a, decorated Jedi master. You can imagine, he had his fair share of run-ins with Sith and whatnot, and he's probably had his fair share of battles. I don't need to see him. He's characterized in a way that that's what he's done.
Yeah.
I don't need to fucking watch him fight some random nondescript Sith in a movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they couldn't even do that. I think that's why they haven't, is because the Phantom Menace solidifies that the first Sith they ever encounter for a very long time is Darth Maul.
He never encountered a Sith in his time as a Jedi. Oh, shit.
Darth Maul, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but like before,
because they're because they see the Sith as like this ancient thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And so when Darth Maul shows up, they're like, "Wait, what the fuck? It's a Sith?"
Fucking Sith, yeah. So
and then that's when they're like,
doing then?
Well, he was just a Jedi, like just hanging about.
Knocking about,
dealing with like trade disputes, I guess.
Yeah, like killing.
Well, actually, I just thinking about it, I just realized Qui-Gon is in Tales of the Jedi because which is a bunch of stories, and he's in like 2 of the episodes.
The animated
with
thing.
Which it wasn't bad. It was quite good. I enjoyed parts of it.
Didn't Ahsoka get an episode that was shit?
Ahsoka got 3 episodes.
3?
Fucking
milking
because Dave Filoni loves Ahsoka so fucking much.
Yeah.
He can't let her go.
I can see why, because everyone loves Ahsoka. But yeah, I mean, I guess when you've created a character like that, it'd be hard to let go of them.
We literally got to see, like, there's an episode where she's born, and then you see her as a kid, like they're literally mapping out her whole life, and she goes and she gets like kidnapped by a tiger, and she's in the wilderness with this tiger, and she touches its nose, and then the tiger brings her back to the village, and then the village elder goes, Jedi
Force,
and then she becomes a Jedi, and then
this is why I love Luke Skywalker so much. He just has 3 movies. He's in, well, technically 4, I guess. He's in The Last Jedi, and there's no more of him. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
They don't have Luke. Oh, well, fuck, he is in fucking Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, he's also in The Mandalorian, and he's also in The Rise of Skywalker as a ghost as well.
Oh, they're fucking Luke Skywalker as well.
And he is in Obi-Wan as a kid. And he's in Battlefront 2 as well.
Character. Okay, maybe Han Solo. Han Solo's like the one untouched character in the entire I guess he's got his own movie. He got a prequel movie.
He did get a prequel movie, yeah. Leia.
Princess Leia. Leia's the only character in Star Wars.
She's in the sequels and she's in Rogue One. She is in Rebels, I believe. Is she?
Oh god, she's in fucking Obi-Wan. Oh no, literally none of them are.
Yeah, she is also in Obi-Wan, yeah.
Fuck! None of them are untouched!
Funny little fact for you. Did you know that kid that played Leia recently did an interview, and she said that the Obi-Wan show made no sense?
Well, yeah, it doesn't. Good.
Which is funny.
Even a fucking child.
She's literally a child. She was like, parts of it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Where she's running away from trained bounty hunters, and she goes under a branch, and the grown adult can't duck down to get underneath it.
God, man, that show was so bad.
You could have made that scene like so much better by Leia runs off, and the other bounty hunter that's like standing next to her just sort of stands there, and then as she's running off, she just runs into another one. And that's like the reason why he didn't give chase, is because there's more of them around, and it's like, okay, we've got you.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you have to have a chase scene? Is it like
So
to show
weird.
like, oh, Leia's so fucking resourceful, she can run
It's
through
to show
the
that
trees.
she's smart and like strong and
She
can
doesn't do
hold her
anything
own.
smart though.
But it
you
was
could
done
show
so
that in so many
badly.
other ways in the show.
Yeah, you
like,
can,
You
you
don't need
can.
to do it with a chase scene through the fucking forest.
Yeah.
Shit film, a shit TV show.
And like as well, like characters don't have to be like that their whole life. Like
No.
there's nothing wrong with her being vulnerable as an 8-year-old. She
Well,
can
she's a
be
fucking
like
child.
you can show that maybe she's got a bit of wit or something, maybe. But like
yeah, and that was shown
there's-
pretty well actually. I liked some of the scenes of Leia where she's sort of a little bit sassy. You know,
yeah,
I didn't
and
mind it.
I think the actress does a great job with what she's got. Like
Yeah.
she was really good.
Yeah, considering she's an
and-
actual child.
Yeah, and also like I don't think that that Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin in The Phantom Menace, was even that bad. I don't know why people used to give him shit.
He was just a kid.
He was like bullied into drug abuse, and he's like in prison or something.
He was bullied in school for being the lead character in a Star Wars film. That shows how ludicrous being in school is.
Yeah,
You can be
Yeah.
the lead character in one of the biggest films ever, and you get bullied for it.
yeah.
Like, what?
And he wasn't even bad. Like
No,
he
was
acted
just
like a
sort of-
kid.
Yeah.
Like
He
I don't
was
know.
just sort of cringe.
There's
That's
some
what
moments
kids are.
like there's some moments, you know, where he says like, "Let's try spinning. That's a good trick," you know.
It's a great
And
moment.
it's like that doesn't make sense.
it's a good
It's
trick.
not a good trick, is it? Spinning when
It
has spinning
is.
ever been a good trick? That makes no sense. That's
But that's not his fault. That's fucking right.
No, I
He didn't
know,
come
I
up
know,
with that
I know.
line.
but you know, yeah, it's
God
yeah.
damn.
George Lucas really stitched him up, I think.
He did. He actually planned it so that he would
Yeah,
get bullied. That's
maybe
what he
maybe
wanted.
maybe Jake Lloyd like bullied George Lucas's son,
Yeah.
and so he just was like, "Do you want a part in Star Wars?" and just wrote it in a way that
Yeah.
was getting bullied,
And
and
he
then
was like, yes, now he's gonna fucking live a life of addiction.
yeah, and Ahmed Best was like, I don't know,
I don't know who
Like
that
he-
is.
the guy who plays Jar Jar Binks. He
Okay, yeah. he was
maybe
like, I don't know
maybe
about that.
maybe one day he you know, before he was an actor, maybe he was a delivery man, and he you know, maybe he threw George Lucas's parcel over his
Yeah,
fence,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was fragile and it got damaged, and he thought, right, that's it, you're
He's like,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
Jar Jar
cast you as
Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. Oh god.
Jesus fucking
Fucking Star
Christ.
Wars.
I cannot believe we talked
Fucking-
about Star Wars for that long.
Like half an hour, I think.
I also can't believe that I'm never going to let him forget it, that me and Tyler did a whole podcast where he tried to defend Obi-Wan for the whole podcast. That was the most mental thing we've ever done.
Well, I guess that's like how
He was on some copium.
it's like the Valhalla spoiler cast where he was doing the opposite, where we were defending it and he was saying it was shit.
yeah,
It's like this,
I guess.
we all have our. The thing
We'll have
is,
blind spots.
yeah, and a lot of people's blind spot is Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
This-
to me that's why I was so mad, because I love Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor as Obi-Wan and they made it bad.
hmm
Oh my god!
That
When
doesn't
he
mean there's
hides
not
Leia under the
isolated
coat.
moments that I like in that show, but
I don't think there's one
I
moment
can
I like in that
mainly-
show.
I can mainly only remember the shit parts, like the first fight with Vader as well, specifically.
Oh my
is just
god!
pathetic. Shouldn't have had him fight Vader at all.
It was, yeah, fucking hell.
Shouldn't have made an Obi-Wan show.
Oh Jesus fucking
Or maybe
Christ!
done like the movie they were gonna do. I would have had that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I don't even care. I don't actually even care that much.
Yeah, I think for me, like the things that I love most about Star Wars these days are definitely the Star Wars Jedi games, and Andor's been really good. So I'm like,
Yeah.
just do new stories.
Yeah.
Like, create a new character somewhere off in the Star Wars galaxy, and tell a story about him.
You could do such cool things. Oh, reminded me actually. Speaking about Star Wars and that stuff, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy was heavily inspired by Star Wars. I watched Guardians 3 the other day,
Oh,
and it was a fucking banger.
so good,
It
so
was
good,
amazing. I loved
so
it.
fucking good. It's up there with, I mean, it's up there with one of my favorite MCU films. I think.
Which is
Don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Oh,
What are my top
it's up
three?
there
I
with
don't know.
one of my favorite MCU films.
Well, it's
Like
one
you're
of
gonna
it's
name
well.
one.
I don't know. I mean, like it's one of my favorites. I think, but
Oh, yeah,
I'd say
it's
I'd
up
say
there.
my top three are probably Winter Soldier, Endgame, and Guardians 3. Maybe
Yeah.
that's my top three.
Probably agree. They're just the Guardians trilogy is just so good. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
I love those
they're
characters. Very good. I love the way it ended.
Mm-hmm.
And the post-credit scene. Well, the post-credit scene obviously is insinuating more Guardian stuff, but with a new team, obviously with Rocket as the leader, which I'm probably not going to watch. I don't know. Maybe I will. But like the way in that post-credit scene, the song from the very beginning of Guardians 1 is playing.
Yeah,
that bit. It's really good.
Yeah, very good.
Just like these nice endings to the arcs of the characters, like Mantis going her own way, and Nebula becoming the leader of whatever their home is called. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. And you got like Drax getting to be a father again.
Yeah.
With all these kids. Like, my God, they did these characters so much fucking justice. Like, especially with Drax had a lot of heart in Guardians, right? And I found it very odd because preparing for Guardians 3, I decided to watch Guardians 1, 2, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odd how out of character the Guardians feel in those Avengers movies.
The Avengers films, yeah, they do.
It's very strange and jarring when you watch them back to back. And to see them back in character, under James Gunn, what he did with Drax was so good. Like, they have all these little isolated moments of where, like, Nebula has a go at Drax, and, like, then you've got this moment where, like, he comes in useful, and it shows, like, through all these films, like, he's a dumb idiot, like, doing all these, like, fighting all these people and always fucking up, and then the one time he gets it right is when he's just, like, being caring to a bunch of kids. And it's like, fuck yeah.
It's a beautiful moment.
That's so good.
Really understanding the way he was characterized in those films. James Gunn's just brilliant.
He's fucking great.
He's just great, and it confuses me as to why all the DC fans are so upset that he's now at the helm. It's like, you guys are in fucking good hands.
You're about to like probably beat Marvel. Honestly, Marvel is going down the shitter. DC is about to be on the the come up now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's wild that people are so upset. Like. And I think probably a majority of people aren't, but on Twitter you tend to see the people that, are...
People that are, like, crying and having breakdowns, like, I can't believe Warner Brothers betrayed Henry Cavill, he's been through enough.
He's been through enough.
It's like, fuck off, he's a fucking Hollywood actor that's paid millions. He's not upset, he's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry about Henry Cavill's feelings.
Yeah, like, oh god, I'm so sad we didn't get another shit fucking Snyder film. I can't believe they've got a good director to make these movies. What the fuck? DC's supposed to be bad.
He was harassed out of the role.
Oh my god, Snyder fans are the worst. Honestly,
fucking
the
man
worst.
Babies, dude. I swear to God.
I hate them so much, and it's like it's not even just their deep obsession. It's their deep obsession with like really bad stuff.
Yeah,
like, I think that's what doubly makes it more frustrating to see them, is how much they're willing to die on a hill of some of the worst movies ever made. Like, it's mental. It's fucking mental.
See, the
like, the hill you're gonna die on is fucking Batman versus Superman. Literally go outside. Go outside and touch some fucking grass. What the fuck?
Batman
Watch any other movie ever made.
Superman.
Any movie. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's
mental.
Like it. It's really gritty. It's a new gritty take on the DC universe where actually Batman lost hope in Batman and he started killing people. And it's so cool because Zack Snyder actually acknowledges that. And it's actually really cool because he actually lost hope in being Batman because the world's so fucking dark and shit. And then he learns once again to not kill people because he learns as a fully grown man that killing people is bad. That's Batman's character arc. He learns killing people is bad. Fuck me.
We don't even get to see the descent into that mindset at all anyway.
He's just
like,
there. But it's okay because we can understand
like
why.
that.
Because the colour grading is off. Therefore, it's bad world.
True. So true.
Batman vs Superman was so shit. I
So
fucking hated
fucking
it.
bad.
It made me feel sick when I was watching it. And I'm not even like a huge fan of like Batman or like I like Batman, but I like the games really. I don't really engage with much other Batman content. But like it made me feel sick while watching it. It was a fucking shit film.
Yeah, it's genuinely terrible. And I also love how in the movie, like, you have this moment, the moment that everyone says is a poignant moment where, the Martha moment. And after that, and he comes to terms with it.
People actually say that's a poignant moment?
Well, yeah, people love it.
Fucking hell.
I mean, most people think this movie's bad. Like, I've never spoke to a person in real life ever that thinks Batman versus Superman is good. Mm-hmm. Like, they only exist on Twitter and when I meet up with Eddie.
Yeah.
But then after that moment, which is the character moment where he realizes that like killing is bad. He takes the Batmobile and smashes it through a bunch of guys and blows them up. And I'm like, what? Who made this? It's so fucking
also,
bad.
I mean, in the fucking Justice League movie when he's talking to the Joker and the Joker's just fucking around with him and he goes, I will fucking kill you. It's like, what?
That moment, man, that fucking moment is so fucking funny.
Deadpan.
He's like, I will kill you. Make no mistake, I will fucking kill you.
Yeah, it's like Batman doesn't need to be dropping the F-bomb. What are we
Who
doing?
wrote that, man? Who the fuck wrote that?
A fucking 15-year-old boy wrote that. I'm just convinced.
God, that's
Those
genuinely
movies
so
are made
funny.
for men who their brains haven't grown out of being like an adolescent. Oh.
It's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my goodness. And then you've got, obviously, Matt Reeves' Batman comes in and saves the day.
No,
with,
I haven't actually watched it yet.
Oh, you've never seen... Oh my god, you gotta see it. That movie is the
haven't.
Batman film.
I've watched the
so
intro,
good.
though.
The intro's great.
The intro scene where it's like the Riddler beating that man over the head in his apartment, and then it shows Batman coming out of like the subway, out of the darkness.
It's
and
so
like
good.
he's like, I am vengeance. It's just fucking cool, and that's what
Oh,
Batman
man.
should be, cool
It
and
is
not fucking
such-
annoying.
It is such a good movie. Like, the whole movie just indulges in what makes Batman such an interesting character.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. Like, the whole character arc he goes on and like the lessons he learns and like, oh my god. And just the cinematography too. Like, it's a gorgeous film.
Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of shots from that film. It does look fucking insane.
Yeah, it's
rare
so
that you
good.
get a film these days that looks like a film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say because it's like, obviously, what does a film look like? But like, when you know that there's been a lot of there's always a lot of thought put into cinematography, but it feels like just more premium, if that makes sense. The way it's shot.
like the way that it's filmed and like what
Yeah.
it's been filmed with and the lighting and the use of like VFX, just the way it all comes together to tell one singular story and get across one feeling as well.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and it's like just not even similar, not even on the same league of like filmmaking. Like,
might as well be a
it's
fucking
just,
animated film. Like, honestly, it's
mental.
you got MODOK and his big fucking face.
Yeah,
Oh,
fucking hell.
Fucking get out of here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I did actually have one topic because we've not actually done any of the topics. We kind of just talked about a bunch of stuff, and that's
That is
fine.
true.
That's what we
That
do.
is very true. Yeah, that's what we do.
But I did have one topic, which was, have you seen iDubbbz' new video?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it, and I know.
Have you seen the
gist of what he's
discourse?
talking about. Yeah, I have.
What are your thoughts?
I think people are fucking crying at him for no reason.
Yeah,
People are getting
It's-
mad at him for wanting to be a better person. Classic Twitter.
it's really weird.
If you're a cunt and you're a kind of bad person who does bad things, people hate you. If you try and change and better yourself, people hate you even more.
They say you haven't really changed. You don't
Yeah.
mean it.
Or they say that you
Like-
don't deserve to change because you've already done bad things.
Yeah,
Therefore,
it's like
you
too
don't
late.
deserve the second chance. Yeah, it's like
mental.
fuck off. It's like
Yeah.
fuck off. Yeah, I commend him for apologizing to Tana Mongeau and that, because it was weird what he did. It was fucking
Yeah, it
weird
was.
going to a convention, harassing her in real life, and then also making everyone in that room at that point uncomfortable.
And then like convincing people that he was right too.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah.
I remember at the time, like it's not completely on him. Like there obviously were people at the time that acknowledged that it was weird. But for me, I remember being like, nah, it's so fucking cool. He
Yeah.
fucking got her.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like no, it's not. That wasn't cool.
Like, he
That
didn't
wasn't
get
cool.
her.
That
It's
was
like,
weird.
fair enough, Tana Mongeau wasn't a good person herself, but like, he shouldn't have also done
Didn't
that.
deserve that. No.
I do think it's a little bit silly unlisting all the content cops.
You think so?
I do. I think he should have left them up, but I understand why you'd want to, because I like watching them. That's why maybe I like.
Well, you can still watch them. They're
I don't
unlisted.
know.
They're not
think
private.
Content Cobb is like a huge part of his legacy on the platform, and they're good videos. Like, why would you want to take them down?
I think I can respect why he did it,
I
because it
understand
shows his commitment to what he's saying. Is that he just genuinely doesn't believe what he did back then was positive in any way, and he wants
Yeah.
it gone. He's like, no one should be watching this. No one should be looking up to this. This is bad stuff. I don't want it to be part of my legacy. Like
Yeah.
it
That's
always
fair
will
enough.
be.
It is fair
but-
enough. Yeah.
There's that element of, he wants to sort of put it away and be like, this is not Like, I don't endorse this or
I
condone
totally
this.
understand why he would want to, but I don't think he should have. But that's just my perspective on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I get it. I'm like, I think it makes sense. Like, I think it almost would have been weirder if he makes this apology video, but then leaves them up and he's making money off of them, and like they're still there, and it's like, so do you mean what you said?
Them.
Like,
well, yeah.
I don't know.
Just because someone's making money off content they made like 5 years ago doesn't mean that their apology holds less weight.
Yeah, but I suppose when the content is what it was, like a lot of it is reinforcing the idea that you can say slurs if you want.
Does he use slurs in the content cop videos? I don't think he did.
Well, he did in the Tanner one.
Oh yeah,
that's what the whole video is about. Like the whole thing is about, like, he says in it, like, either all of it's okay or none of it's okay.
That is true.
Which is not a great sentiment, but I believe that for a long time too. Like, I remember thinking that
when he's talking about certain slurs.
Yeah, where he's like, everyone should be able to say the N-word, or everyone can say nothing. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people shouldn't be able to say slurs. People just shouldn't say any slurs. Like, you know,
yeah,
I do think there's an argument to be made in the sense that obviously certain types of racism are seen as not as severe, but that's almost a different point than what he was making.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why we view it the way that we do. Like, there just is a reason why we, like, you look at, I mean, you know, racism against black people is, most people would see subconsciously, the worst kind of racism.
Right? I don't see it like that. I see, if you have a prejudice against anyone of any...
No, I agree. Race, I agree. Like objectively,
it's treated
like, I agree
with more reverence, and it shouldn't be. That's the thing. I think it is treated with more reverence. I agree, but it shouldn't be.
I think the main reason for that, though, is probably because of the amount of slavery that involved the black community. That is true,
and it was very recent as well.
It was very recent.
When you bring up slavery, some people bring up the argument as, yeah, but every race has been enslaved at some point. And while that is true, it's still very recent that happened.
Yeah, like you know, Europeans were enslaved by people, but that was so many years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it was so long ago, that's not relevant. Like, I can't claim offense or
yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, if you're racist against me, it's never going to offend me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm never going to be offended by someone being racist against white people.
Unless, if I was in, like, a majority... Say if we went to a country that was, like, I don't know, Asia somewhere, and there was people treating you differently because you were the outlier white person, I would I would be offended by that.
Yeah, maybe.
That's fine to be offended by that. Like, we're not... There's this weird thing going around on Twitter where it's like, because you're white, therefore you're not allowed to be offended by racial prejudice that other people have against you. I think it's wrong. I do think it's wrong. I don't think I should be looking for things to be offended by and going, oh, you're being racist to me. But I think,
like you said, though, it does depend on where you are. Like, if I'm in the UK, where I live now, where most people around me are, like, usually white, and then someone says a white slur at me, I'm gonna be like, I don't care. Like, it's not gonna affect me.
Yeah.
But like you said, if I went to, like, South Korea, I don't know if they're racist, but, like, say I went there where, like, you know, everyone's Korean mostly, and if people treated me differently, it would, because you would be isolated. You'd feel quite isolated, so that would affect you that way.
I just don't think we should get comfortable with being like, white people can't be offended by anything we say because their ancestors are bad. Because after a few generations, it will just be like, people just hate white people, and it will just be the same thing again. Maybe a little bit different, way different, but there'll be prejudice there where there doesn't need to be.
I think in regular life, like, nobody is prejudiced. Like, I've never met someone that genuinely hates white people based on their skin color. I've never met anyone that thinks that.
Definitely people that do, but it isn't something that all the people, like black people, Asian people, and whatnot that I've met, they don't hate white people. They just are upset that they're being oppressed, and the people that are oppressing them are white people. Like, you know, they don't hate every white person. It's pretty rare you'll find someone that actually feels that way.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's probably because of conditioning from living in the Western world, where they have all the racism they've experienced is from white people.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. God damn, how are we talking about racism?
Talking about iDubbbz.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, iDubbbz. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You do you, man. don't care.
I think it's crazy the amount of people that are like against him for one reason or another in the situation.
Yeah,
people are like, oh, iDubbbz became a bitch. Like, no, man, just because he's not bullying people on the internet anymore doesn't mean that he's a bitch. Like, you know, if this is what we consider like becoming a bitch and not being like, he's being a man, you know?
Yeah. I think people are also just upset at him for being fine with his girl having an OnlyFans and making porn on it.
Yeah,
people are also upset at him for that.
Who the fuck cares, man? Who the fuck cares?
That is the boundaries of their relationship.
And I think it's people that project themselves onto these, you know, people online, these celebrities, these, you know, creators. They if the creator does something, they're like, what the fuck? That doesn't reinforce the way I view the world. And you were like the marker that I, you know, aspired to, and now you've changed, and it's like, what the fuck? I can't admit that I'm wrong, so you're wrong.
Yeah. Maybe just have a little bit of introspection, because it seems like, you know, iDubbbz has had a fair amount of introspection, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And it's taken him a while to get there. And also, like, you see in the video, he uses podcast clips from like just 6 months ago, where his opinion is slightly different. And he's like, look, you can see how this like process evolves. Like, it does take a bit. Like, it does. It's not just like you don't just flip a switch. It takes a while of thinking and considering, and eventually you figure out. Like, I'm thinking about myself, like, you know, I consider my, you know, worst years to be 2016, 2017. But honestly, I was probably that way up until maybe mid-2019. Like, it took a while to fully get out of my system. And even from like mid-2019 to now, I feel like I've changed drastically.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, you know, it's one of those things, although I do identify 2016, 17 as like, you know, the peak of it, and when I was that person.
Yeah.
You know, it lasted for a lot longer than that, because it takes a while to learn to be better and to figure it out and to try, you know, get out of that mindset.
The whole part of being a human is fucking learning and changing behaviours and learning to live alongside other people in a more harmonious way. I don't think it's a bad thing to backtrack on your previous beliefs, but people hate backtracking. That's the thing. People fucking hate. There's just some people that fucking hate it. It's like, just be consistent. Just stand by your beliefs. And don't budge. It's like, no. Learn from your beliefs that were wrong and change them. So that you can live alongside other people in a better way.
And I saw some tweets as well where someone was like, oh, if he was 15 at the time, I'd get it, you can change. But he was 27.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he should have known better. Like, he should have.
You should be omnipotent by the time you're 27. That's how it works, isn't it?
Like, maybe he should have known better. Maybe he should have. Yeah, for sure.
Better. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he can't change. You're saying you want him to be racist for the rest of his life instead of changing.
Yeah,
like, what's the alternative? Just shut the fuck up. Just because you're better than him, it doesn't fucking matter, man. Like, he changed for the better and has realized what he did was wrong, and he's backtracking on it, and he's, you know, correcting. You know, that's good. That's really good.
Thing. Yeah, people need to be congratulated for doing that sort of thing. So I think cancel culture, and as much as I hate the term cancel culture, needs to die out a little bit. Because people just don't want to give anyone second chances. Obviously, there's certain things that don't deserve second chances, but like also, if someone's trying to better themselves, at least be like, yeah, that's better than before.
Yeah, be receptive
instead of trying to act like it's somehow bad.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
And like, I get it. Like, obviously, there's some black people that probably won't want to forgive iDubbbz, and that's fine.
Don't forgive him. Don't.
Like, that's fine. You don't have to. That is fine. But I mean, most of the people I've seen talking about it are all white anyway. So, you know, it's like these people that are saying like, oh, you haven't really changed, or you can't change, or, you know, you don't mean it. It's like, you don't know what he means. Like, you know, I think everyone should give everyone a chance. You should always be able to forgive people.
Especially if they seem particularly earnest in their desire to change. Like, I mean, that video I've seen clips from it seems pretty transparent. Like, it's not like him trying to get people back on side for the sake of his brand or doing it for a career reason. Like, he genuinely seems like he wants to change. I've seen that take as well. Like, he's clearly just doing it to change the career, so he's got more of an audience now, so he can actually, you know, continue making content. It's like, fuck me. Why are you looking at it through that lens? Yeah.
Because look at some of the biggest creators out there. Fucking look at Ben Shapiro. Look at Steven Crowder. Built empires off the back of being bigoted. Like, there's money to be made, man. Like, if he wanted to keep doing that, he absolutely could, and he could make a shit ton of money doing it. Like, he's not doing it. He's not doing it to try and get the favor of the leftists to like make more money. It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. That's
it's
not
so
the play
stupid.
that I would do if I wanted to make money in iDubbbz situation. I'd double down.
Yeah, exactly. If all you wanted was money, you would just double down. Just keep going down that path.
I'd make
as
like,
much money as you
content
can.
cop, and he's not doing that. He hasn't made one in years.
Yeah, it's crazy because those people are the same people that say, "Oh, go broke, go woke, go broke," and it's like, wait, so which one is it? Do you make more money by being woke, or do you make less money by being woke? You fucking idiots!
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
When they say go woke, go broke, they mean go woke, i.e. do something I don't like. Go broke, i.e. I won't buy it. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just fucking stupid.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. Right, that's that topic.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
For a long time. 2 hours
we have been going for a while now. Way longer than I'd anticipated.
Same
here. We did have a dream. I don't know if you want to do the dream or...
We had a dream. We you know what?
One dream, I think.
We can do we have Patreon topics?
No, I forgot to put it up.
That's okay. That's cool. What we should do is...
So I apologise, everybody.
This episode? Yeah, sorry, everyone. God damn. Is that 2 weeks in a row? Oh, no. Yeah, last week we did some, didn't we?
We did do one last week, yeah. But we did have a recommended that we pushed back, I think.
That's okay. We could push it back again.
And let's push it back again.
We will do recommended and Patreon topics.
Yes.
In one.
Sounds good. Right, let's do a dream now. Let's do a dream now. It's from Kim.
Okay, now.
Do you want to read the dream?
I will do it. It's going to take me 20 years to fucking... You know what? I'll get it up on my phone because my phone loads YouTube quicker than my PC does.
Amazing.
Horsey and folks. Go into the comments. I'm pretty sure they posted it on our last 2 podcasts. It's a big one, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a decently sized one, yeah.
It's a big one, right. I'll read it out. Dream. Alright, so this is quite the strange dream I have to tell. I excuse my English because I'm Italian, and they're going to go on to use perfect English for the entire thing. I just know it. Whenever someone says excuse my English, it's always perfect English. This happened a night of July 2021. I was 17, summer vacation just started. I'm able to tell this dream because as soon as I woke up I picked up my phone and made a vocal recording explaining my dream in fear I would forget it later. That's big brain. So, the dream starts as I'm going on an expedition in the jungle. Can you hear my dogs barking?
Yeah, they're going mental.
Fucking shouting at Felix next door. It's
classic. I bet Dad is absolutely losing his bloody mind.
And instead of just letting them out separately, Mum and Dad for some reason do not learn from their mistakes. When you let them out separately, it's fine. They're quiet because they egg each other on when they're out there.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, okay. Let's get back to the dream again. So the dream starts as I'm going on an expedition in the jungle with some people I know, friends and schoolmates, and also with some strangers, around 20 people. In my recording, I distinctly say that the expedition was like an episode of Bear Grylls, with the same type of humour and stuff. Can you hear their barking like really loud, or is it just faint?
I mean, no, it's just kind of in the background.
Okay. Is it distracting?
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, well, they've stopped now anyway.
Oh.
I don't know. There's a few more.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. It's part of the ambience.
Fucking hell, I just hate that dog. In my recording, I distinctly say that the expedition was like an episode of Bear Grylls with the same type of humour and style. Me and my friends, who were 17, 18 around that year, were adults in this dream. Don't ask me why. So we're going around the jungle/swamp forest, and suddenly we encounter a crocodile. We all freeze, as we don't know what to do. After a few seconds, some guy I don't know from behind the group screams, "Get on the ground!" And so we all slowly lay down on the ground. In the meantime, the crocodile gets curious and starts slowly getting closer, specifically closer to me. I was leading the group. As he's getting closer, everyone gets up in an instant and just runs away, disappearing, leaving me alone on the ground with the crocodile a few meters away from me. And so I look around and there's no one. A few seconds pass and I hear some chatting voices, and I see behind me my classmates suddenly reappear, chatting like they were at home, totally relaxed and unaware of the situation. I'm still on the ground, scared of the crocodile who's getting closer. The crocodile had like very big eyes for a crocodile. Nothing exaggerated or cartoony, just relatively big eyes. I'm imagining like a Pixar fucking crocodile wandering towards this man.
Huge eyes.
Someone from the crowd behind tells me to stay calm, to don't rush any movement. Suddenly I look on my side, and on the ground there is an Apple MacBook just laying there on the swampy dirt. I don't own one in real life, so I don't know whose it's supposed to be. After I look at the crocodile and I start talking to him, telling him that he doesn't have to do this, he doesn't have to eat me. I tell him in a way, imagine kind of like Chris Pratt as Star-Lord telling that with type of charisma, but he still look like me. Amazing. At the same time, my classmates behind me start cheering me, telling me things like, "You can do this." My teacher, yes, he was also there, instead tells me to look up an old school project on the MacBook. I don't know why. I realised at this point that the crocodile had gotten a few centimetres away from me, and as soon as I realised this, the crocodile starts convulsing, mutating.
Oh, God.
After a few seconds, the mutation stops, and the crocodile had become this beautiful girl in her 20s with the most perfect body, and she starts crying, laying her head on my shoulder. While I'm shocked at what's happening, some sad music starts playing from the MacBook. And everyone else starts cheering and applauding. The girl is still crying and is now telling me her problems, that no one loves her, that she is alone. And as soon as I want to answer, I wake up soaked in sweat. That's probably the only interaction you've had with a woman ever, isn't it? Nah, joking. Got him. Reflecting on the dream, around that period of my life, there were some events involving some girls that could reconnect/explain what and why the hell my brain would come up with something like this. Coincidentally, I've started going to the gym after that dream. That's it. Just wanted to tell this dream. One of many I had and recorded. Really enjoy your content. Great vibes. Even though I don't always agree to everything you say, still curious to hear your opinions on stuff. Keep up the good work, and arrivederci.
Aw, thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Kim. Oh, Kim. Maybe it's... I said man. Maybe it's a woman.
Oh.
Could be.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Person.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Fuck you.
It doesn't. I'm sorry. Thanks for the dream. You said you had more recordings. Please
listen to them and then type them out.
Yeah, type them out. Give us more. I'll happily. That's pretty funny.
That was good. I
Crocodile
like that one.
turning into a beautiful girl in her 20s with a perfect body. I'm so glad you went into detail of her body type.
I like the crocodile with the big eyes.
That's true. I like that too. The Pixar crocodile. Although it didn't have Pixar eyes, to be fair. It just had big eyes. But I'm imagining it with Pixar eyes. Even though you specifically said it didn't.
Tried to talk the crocodile down like you're Star-Lord. It's like such a weird comparison, but I also get it. I can imagine it.
I can imagine it too.
Yeah.
Oh god, amazing.
That was good.
Fucking hell, good dream.
Limey. All right. Well, that's everything then for today.
That is indeed, yeah.
Apologies for no Patreon topics again, folks. I keep forgetting to post the thing. The fucking podcast comes around and I'm like, oh, I haven't posted it. Shit.
Do it after this episode, after we record it.
That's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, that gives you 2 weeks worth of time for people to give topics, and then we just pick the best ones.
Yeah, maybe. Alright, fine. I'll post it after this goes up.
Cool.
Head over to Patreon, link in the description.
Yeah. Submit your topics.
Would appreciate.
But
that's it for episode 8.
Specifically give us a topic about weird shit. I mean, and personal shit as well. I like hearing out people's personal grievances.
Yeah. I like giving advice. I miss those
giving
days.
advice, even if I don't even really know what to say. I just like it. It's funny.
Yeah, I like those topics. It reminds me of the good old Clubhouse days.
That's true. We need to get Tyler on this podcast at some point, man.
Yeah, we do.
For old time's sake.
Tyler is a guest on the Horsey and Fox podcast, and we need to do a Four Pillars podcast. We do. We said we were like, oh, we'll come back and do them like a few a year, and we just haven't done any.
That's true. We can do it in like the summer. That's cool.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good.
That'd be good.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for the show. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And that's that. Hopefully by the time this podcast is out, it won't be long until my Jedi Survivor video is out. So get yourself ready. Get yourself geared up for such an upload. It's going to be a banger, all right? I've not seen anyone put out a Jedi Survivor like critique or anything yet. I've not like
Ethan.
seen one yet. So.
Oh, is his uploaded yet, or is it not done yet?
What, my video?
Ethan's.
Ethan. Oh, well, Ethan did.
It's like 2 hours.
Well, Ethan's was a bit different. His was, he did a review of it and then he did a narrative analysis.
Okay.
So I guess I guess Ethan's counts, but
Yeah,
I've not seen one that's like a big.
Probably does count. What did you mean? What do you mean big? It's
Well,
only
I
3
mean-
hours long.
No, I mean like a big analysis of the whole game. Like he did one that was like a
Okay,
sort of a
okay.
brief 20-minute review
About the gameplay.
about the sort of the gameplay and stuff. Like it was.
Okay,
I watched
okay.
it. It was like, you know.
What?
Decent.
Why Star Wars Jedi Survivor is not? Oh, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is almost a masterpiece. I see. It's that one.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
And it was a bit more of an off the cuff review sort of thing, whereas his narrative critique goes into like the whole narrative and stuff. I've watched about half of it, I think.
Yeah.
And that's that's good. But I've not seen anyone do like a big long form, like all encompassing, talking about it mechanically,
like
narratively.
Yeah.
Like one of those types of videos. I've not seen one of those, so I
I
guess
think
maybe I'm
it'll be a banger.
categorizing it in a way where it makes it that way, because Ethan has very clearly made videos on that, and they are long. But
That's true. Yeah.
the type
get
of
what
video,
you're
look, the
saying.
type of video I'm making, I've not seen it. I've not seen it yet.
There we
right?
go.
So
That's your teaser for today's
yeah.
podcast.
So hopefully, I can get a monopoly on Jedi Survivor critiques, and then
Exactly.
get all the views, because I'll be the only one doing it.
Exactly.
And I've made a
Really
sick
exciting.
thumbnail. It looks very cool.
That's what you need. That is what you need.
So there you go. But cool.
Nice.
Alright, I'm fucking yawning. Thank you all for listening and watching.
been a long one
Rate us
again.
5 stars on Apple Music podcast. I don't fucking know.
And on Spotify. Don't forget about bloody Spotify.
Give us a Spotify review. Would appreciate that. And Google Podcast. I don't fucking know.
Next time.
We'll see you later, boys. See you next time. See you in 2 weeks. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.